The Falmouth Commodores are finally back home after a 2-0-1 road trip. They play the Wareham Gatemen for the second time this season, the first time here at Guv Fuller Field. Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Opening the Door, alongside Trey Redfield, today's color commentator, and Carter Bainbridge, today's play-by-play broadcaster. I'm Logan Soforenko. I'll be on the field providing updates all throughout the game for you guys. And Carter, let's jump right into things. Last night, the Falmouth Commodores ended their three-game road trip with a win over the defending champion, Brewster Whitecaps.
Yeah, the Whitecaps off to a little bit of a middling start this year. They came into that game 5-5, but the Doors prevailed by a run last night, 4-3, your final score. The Commodores got enough on offense. You would have liked to assume they'd get just a bit more. The final 15 Falmouth batters were retired in that game in order. So they're going to have to get a little bit more consistent on offense today after that 4 spot in the first and nothing else the rest of the game. They were fortunate to prevail in what was a crazy ninth inning in that game as well.
When you go 2-0-1 on a road trip, you have to just look at the standings and see what's at stake. And Trey, the Wareham Gatemen last night fell, and they had a pretty solid lead throughout the game as well, but there's some standing stuff on the line today.
Yeah, Wareham losing 8-4 last night, Ty, and it creates a lot of stuff in the Western Division standings. If the Commodores win tonight, they get themselves out of that 5th place hole. They'll move up to 4th place in the West Division. If they win and if the Harbor Hawks lose tonight, then that'll create a tie for 3rd place in the Western Division. So it's only up from here for the Commodores if they can keep the good times rolling tonight.
No better place to do it than Guv Fuller Field. And Carter, we're going to see a guy for the Falmouth Commodores making his 3rd start, Ben Hess, who has had a pretty solid start for the 2022 season.
Yeah, that to say the least. We talked about keeping the good times rolling, and there's a good candidate on the hill today to keep those good times going. Ben Hess, the right-hander, in his 2 starts so far this summer, 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run allowed, and he hasn't allowed an extra base hit. So he's limiting the base runners, he's limiting the hard contact. Hasn't had a decision yet because he's looking for more run support. That's the key today against a Wareham staff that ranks last in the league in team earned run average.
Ben Hess had a start against the Cotuit Kettleers and as well against the Orleans Firebirds. And Trey, he's going to go up against a Wareham pitcher, Grayson Moore, making his 2nd appearance on the season, but his 1st start for the Gatemen.
Grayson Moore is a Vandy boy. The last time he was out for Wareham, he had 2 1/3 innings pitched, like you mentioned, in relief, giving up 1 hit, 2 strikeouts of shutout ball. He only had 1 start at Vanderbilt this season, and he's also a two-way player coming into Nashville. He was an outfielder. He was actually a really good outfielder, ranked nationally, but he has made the full move to pitching this past season. So an interesting idea here for the Gatemen. We'll see what happens.
The Falmouth Commodores are back at home for the first time since the doubleheader where they hosted the Orleans Firebirds for 2 games. And Carter, home hasn't been incredibly pretty for the Falmouth Commodores, but we got a big tilt coming up.
Yeah, that Orleans doubleheader seems like quite a long time ago now, but you would love to see the Commodores finally get things together at home. They're only 1-4 at the Gov so far this year. It took the Doors into July to win their first home game last year, so for whatever reason the past 2 years, this home park hasn't been all that hospitable for them. You'd love to see them keep it up, though, after that 2-0-1 road trip. You don't want to spoil things here at home.
The Falmouth Commodores' only win here at Guv Fuller Field was against the Chatham Anglers. And Trey, a lot of things on the line tonight, but the Falmouth Commodores are looking to continue this impressive work week. What do you got for Trey's takes?
Oh, yeah, we love us some Trey's takes, don't we? What I'm going to go with tonight, Logan, is to spread out the runs. We only saw 4 runs last night from the Commodores, all of them coming in the top of the first. And the last 15 batters, like Carter mentioned, were retired by Falmouth last night. It is so important for the Doors to share the wealth, get runs at the start, in the middle, at the end. Just keep the bats going, finding ways to get guys on base throughout every inning. You know, if you're leaving guys stranded, so be it. But if you're putting runs on the board, you'll take that any day of the week. We need to see Falmouth do all of that in almost every single bottom half today.
They're looking to avoid that trend where they saw yesterday 15 batters retired in a row to end that game. The Falmouth Commodores host the Wareham Gatemen. You can tune in right here on the Falmouth Commodores YouTube channel, where Trey Redfield will be on color commentary and Carter Bainbridge will be providing some play-by-play, and I'll be on the field giving you guys updates. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Opening the Door. Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen coming up shortly.
Participated in Falmouth Commodores baseball camp for several years and has enjoyed attending Commodores games throughout his life. In the fall, Nicholas will be attending the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he plans on studying accounting and finance. Becca Polzin is a graduate of Falmouth High School. For many years, Becca has been an avid fan of the Falmouth Commodores and has enjoyed attending Falmouth Commodores baseball games. In the fall, Becca will be attending the University of Vermont, where she will major in global studies. William Weber is a graduate of Upper Cape Cod Regional Technical School. For many years, William has enjoyed attending Falmouth Commodore baseball games. William also participated in the Falmouth Commodores summer baseball camp for several years. In the fall, William will be attending Wentworth Institute of Technology, where he will major in business management. Cole Johnson is a graduate of Falmouth High School. Cole's family has been a host family for the Falmouth Commodore players for many years. In the fall, Cole will be attending the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Singing the national anthem tonight is Anna Wimmer. Anna is a Cape Cod native, raised in Sandwich, and currently lives in Yarmouth with her husband and 11-month-old son, Charlie. She sings in her band Anna and the Moderns, as well as for the Catholic parish of St. Joseph Guardian of the Holy Family in Falmouth.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star
After a 3-game road trip, the Doors are back at home and playing a hot brand of baseball. A pair of wins and a tie against Katuitt made for an undefeated work week. And now, Falmouth tries to start the weekend with a second win in as many games against the Wareham Gatemen. Good evening, everybody. Carter Bainbridge along with my partner, Trey Redfield. And we're back at the Guv, partner, finally, after a long way away. It's a hot one today, so the ball may be carrying, but we're looking for the Commodores to keep playing a good brand of baseball ever since that dreadful 0-3 start.
Yeah, it's about time we're back, right? I mean, there was that road slate that the Commodores went on, 2-0-1 like you mentioned, but this is a whole new Commodores team that we're seeing. They started the year 0-3, but since then, now they have an opportunity to get out of that fifth-place hole that they've been in. A win tonight for the Doors. If they take down Wareham, they can put themselves up in fourth place, and if Hyannis loses tonight along with that, we could see Falmouth tied for third in the West.
So some division standings at stake. The Doors, with a win today and a Hyannis loss, could be tied for third, and they're playing a Wareham team that they have already beaten once. Logan Soforenko, our field reporter tonight, has more on that first matchup. Logan, what can you tell us back about that matchup on the 18th?
The Wareham Gatemen last week with a final score of 12-9. The Commodores trailed by as many as 3 runs, but a 6-run top of the 6th inning where they had a 7-4 lead, and they ended up winning that game with just 3 in favor with a final score of 12-9. But something that wasn't talked about enough was the weather that game. It was very, and it was the windiest game that we had this 2022 season. Tonight, however, nice clear skies, no clouds, and folks, I am wearing a polo tonight. Back to you guys upstairs.
Well, we've got some short sleeves on as well, as the weather has slowly gotten better after a couple chilling games we had to endure out at Wareham and again at Chatham earlier this week. But this is the warmest game we've had so far tonight, so the ball may be carrying out of this yard. And one of the arms to start this game, at least the one for the Commodores to try to prevent that, is right-hander Ben Hess, making his 3rd appearance, 3rd start of the summer. And Trey, so far, ever since Hess came over from the University of Alabama, he has been nails.
Yeah, he's been awesome, and it seems like every time he's pitching, you are on the call. I don't know what it is, but Hess has been a guy who's been so dominant this season. You know, the first time we saw him was against Katuitt, and he took a line shot back to him. It was so unfortunate that he had to get taken out a couple of pitches after that because he was dealing then. He's been dealing throughout the season as well, Carter. You know, at Alabama this year, he went
run allowed. As you saw the Commodore lineup there that we'll get to in the bottom frame of this inning. But now the Wareham Gatemen come up in the top of the first inning, starting with second baseman Jack Hausinger. Hogan Windish, the left fielder, on deck, hitting second. Max Anderson at third base, hitting third. Alan Roden, a new addition to this Wareham team since the first matchup, hits cleanup. As Hess looks in, Hausinger digging in the first pitch, taking his breath, and now the 1-1. Again, low and away to the left-handed hitting Hausinger, and it's 2-1. And these first 2 batters in the Wareham order are 2 guys yesterday out at Brewster when he made a diving catch in the 9th inning with a runner at first base to preserve a 1-run win over the Whitecaps. The catcher. High drive to right field. Brutcher heading back, now tails off to his right to make the catch. And a hard hit second out off the bat of Windish here in the top of the first. And it's 0-1. Anderson, who was a born Brave last summer, now away. Top of the first inning, 1-2-3. The Gatemen go down in order. We head to the bottom of the first inning here at Guv Fuller Field in a scoreless tie.
Hey there, Commodore fans. Thanks for joining us for family and friends. Be sure to come say hello and get a piece of Falmouth merch. Make a trip before we close up shop in the 9th inning. See you soon, and roll Doors.
Grayson Moore for Wareham, on for the 2nd time this summer, but his first start after coming over from Vanderbilt. As you see the Wareham defense behind him, outfield around left to right, Hogan Windish, Michael Robertson, and Ty Evans. Infield around the horn, Max Anderson, Blake Wright, Jack Hausinger, and Alan Roden. And Ryan Campos, the battery mate of Grayson Moore. And Trey, you talked about this right-hander in opening the door. What can you tell us about this Vandy boy?
Well, this Vandy boy was a little bit of an outfielder. He got recruited as a two-way player with the Commodores, but this year he made 16 appearances, including one start this spring, posting a 1-1 record across 26.2 innings pitched.
He gets the first pitch straight back here in the bottom of the first. Ring. Fastball up high, and it's 2-1. So Trey, as you detailed for this right-hander, recruited as a highly touted outfielder out of high school, Lake Mary High School down in Longwood, Florida. At one point ranked for the Gatemen. 2-2, line to short, picked up on a hop by right, and the throw in time. Now the batter with one away, bases empty here in the bottom of the first inning. Doors and Gatemen just started in this one. First pitch to Halter, in for a strike, fastball, and it's 0, playing left and hitting ninth. Halter at the plate, down on the count, 0-2. First lefty bat of the day to face Moore. And Trey, the Doors having a much quieter first inning than they did yesterday.
Yeah, 4 innings put up by the Doors in that top half, and didn't put up anything after that.
But one, Moore with solid command here in the first inning. He's thrown a couple of his pitches for strikes so far. One pitch. Outside this time with a fastball, and it's 3-1. And another 3-ball count on Braden Taylor. He seems to do that just about every time he comes up to the plate. 3-1. Flied foul down the left side, over towards the spectators on the hill. And a full count on Taylor with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first and 2 down. Jack Payton on deck, who has gotten off to a good start so far this summer. 4 for his first 14, including a 2 RBI triple to dead center field yesterday out at Stony Brook Field against the Brewster Whitecaps. That was, I don't know, half a foot away from being out. Tapped foul back of the plate by Taylor, and they'll do the full count pitch again.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about 20 minutes ago saying, hey, Trey, go back in your scorebook and see how many full counts Braden Taylor has worked. It seems like almost every single time he's at bat, he's not going to go down without a fight. It's Mooney on the base pass, it's Taylor at the plate, and a lot of other Commodores have joined them in this work in the full count category.
3-2. Taylor checked his swing, not much of an offer there, and he takes first with a 2-out walk here in the bottom of the first inning. First base runner of the game for either team, and that brings up Jack Payton.
From Louisville, number 12, Jack Payton.
So Payton, who could have made a good claim to be player of the game yesterday, if not for Jacob Walsh's home run and Andrew Pinckney's catch in the ninth. Swings to the first offering, and a ground ball up the middle, base hit. First hit of the game for the Commodores, and now 2 straight have reached with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Runners at first and second, and Jacob Walsh, speak of the devil, coming to the plate.
He's the devil because he went yard yesterday. He had a solo blast, went opposite field over towards left field. It sneaked in down the left field line over at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Let's find out if Jacob can get another one of those blasts here with 2 guys on. He's sitting 5th today, and Payton doing his job as a cleanup guy. You know, no one in scoring position. Just move the guy over. Let the next guy take over, and that's Walsh right now.
Well, Walsh did some cleaning up yesterday, even though he was batting 5th. First offering to him, breaking ball buckled him something terrible, and it's 0-1 on the Falmouth first baseman. Big looping bender out of the hand of Moore at 72 miles an hour. And Walsh was not looking for that. He gets himself ready to go. And the 0-1. Skies at foul left side. Quickly 0-2 on the Falmouth first baseman.
We're seeing fastballs from both pitchers. Some pretty good cutters that just tail away from left-handed batters. One of them here from Moore that Walsh was going after just to try and give him some confidence at the plate. Now your strike zone, your swing zone for Walsh opens up so much more knowing you're down 0-2. You got to do whatever you can to fight, knowing you got 2 guys on with 2 gone.
The 0-2. up high, and it's 1-2. The fastball for Moore, at least in the early going in his first inning of work, has clocked in at about 92 to 93 miles an hour. So pretty solid heater. About on par with what Ben Hess throws on the other side. 1-2. This one in front of the plate, blocked by Campos, and it's 2-2.
And even with the 2-strike approach, Carter, you got to be so disciplined as a hitter. You got to know what you're not going to go after at as well. I mean, we talk about the swing zone opening up a lot more, but then you also got to know, okay, that doesn't mean swinging everything so high, chase at something down low. You still got to be really smart up there. And even with when you're down 2 strikes, you got to be even smarter than you were coming in with nothing and nothing.
2-2 is down low and in, so Walsh has fought back from 0-2 to 3-2. And now both runners will be going. Taylor at second, Peyton at first with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Walsh entering the day hitting .111, 3 for his first 27, but he's only struck out 5 times. He's been putting the ball in play a lot and hitting it hard. And now the payoff pitch, runners go. Swinging a ground ball to first base, fielded by Roden, who makes the flip to Moore for out number 3. And that ends the first inning. The Doors get a hit, no errors, and they leave 2. We head to the top of the second. 4, 5, and 6 coming up for Wareham when we come back at a 0-0 game.
Hey Commodore fans, do you want to have your name placed into Falmouth Commodore history? Arnie Allen Diamond at Guv Fuller Field has a spot for you. For the first time since before the pandemic began, you have the ability to purchase a brick with your name on it and have it placed right on the walkway that leads to the merchandise booth located directly behind home plate. To find out more about how you can purchase a brick, visit falmouthcommodores.com/buy-a-brick program or scan the QR code that you see on your screen today.
Oh, it's a beautiful day for baseball here at Guv Fuller Field. Maybe on the warmer side, but that hasn't stopped plenty of fans from coming out here to the Guv today. Carter Bainbridge along with Trey Redfield here for the top of the second inning between the Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen. As you take a look at the defense for the Doors, outfield left to right, McKenzie, Pinckney, and Brutcher. Infield around the horn, Taylor, Mooney, Halter, and Walsh. And Jack Payton behind the plate. So Jacob Cozart, usual catcher, getting a day off, at least to start. And a more well-rounded lineup today, Trey, at least with the handedness of the batters. We've seen some heavy left-handed lineups in recent days, but this one a little bit more staggered platoon-wise.
Yeah, I mean, it's just trying to get everyone involved. There, you have, well, it's so, you know, it's sometimes it's great to win games and try and stay in contention with your summer league and all that. These guys need at-bats. They need opportunities to stay fresh throughout the season going into fall ball. So I like what Jeff Trundy's doing, always trying to mix in the lineup. You know, Alex Mooney, sometimes it's short. Sometimes he's a DH. Sometimes he gets the day off. Other guys as well, especially behind the plate. Corey Collins, Jack Payton, Jacob Cozart. You know, there's just so many different guys that get their opportunities, and that's what summer ball is really all about.
Want to know the count on Alan Roden taking his first cuts of the day. Cleanup hitter and first baseman for Wareham, leading off here in the top of the second. 1-0 is softly grounded to short. Mooney, good pick, solid throw, and beat him by a step. 1 out here in the top of the second inning. And more solid glove work displayed by Alex Mooney.
So tailor-made right there. He knew that was his ball throughout. Braden Taylor was coming over for a second, but Alex said, hey, no, Braden, that's my ball. I got this. He had the angle on it. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He picked it up, immediately chucked it with the sidearm over to first base. You know, you got to be athletic if you're at shortstop. You got to be the guy in charge, and Mooney showed that right there.
First offering to Ryan Campos, the catcher in hitting fifth, is low, and it's 1-0. So Ben Hess, another solid beginning to this game. He sat down the first 4 Gatemen hitters he's faced. His 1-0 delivery. Fastball line foul the other way by the left-handed hitting Campos. And it's 1-1, so much more subdued beginning than the last time these two teams met, at least so far, back on the 18th. Exactly a week ago when they combined for 21 combined runs, 21 combined hits, and 23 combined runners left on base. Check swing, they appeal to third base. He didn't go, says third base umpire Jim Fonseca. 2-1 the count on the Wareham catcher.
That was one heck of a night. We were shivering by the 9th inning. We couldn't even, say words on our radio broadcast that we had.
2-1 delivery. Couldn't nip the corner on the outside, and it's 3-1 on Campos. Yeah, so, Trey, you've had the misfortune of being the lead man on the call for the tie at Katuitt and our coldest day of the year.
It was cold in Katuitt, too. I would argue. It got a little chilly at Lowell Park.
3-1 fouled back, and it's 3-2.
I would say we, because you were there for Chatham as well. You and I had the call for the Anglers game at Veterans Field too.
We've had the chilly ones, that's for sure.
I lost my jacket too, so I got to figure that out.
Well, very well could be left at Spillane Field, and if you listen back to that broadcast, you may hear our teeth chatter. There was a swirling wind that night in a game that went over 4 hours. 3-2 delivery just misses for Hess. And the first base runner for the Gatemen is a one-out walk here in the top of the second as Campos takes the free pass, and Blake Wright, the batter, with 1 on and 1 down.
And now if you're Hess, leave that first guy on. He's got to be smart here. Sometimes it's all it takes is one for Hess to just realize, all right, let me get back into my groove, control my game, maybe give the infield a little bit of leverage too. This is a great double play opportunity for Falmouth, a team that turns a lot of double plays.
First pitch to Wright is fouled back, and it's 0-1. So Hess, a guy who has walked a couple batters, 7 innings and 4 bases on balls in 2 outings coming into the day. He's been stingy with base runners all around. Hasn't allowed a lot of hits. Only 1 earned run in his first 7 innings this summer. Now dealing with a 1-out base runner. Throw to first, and Campos back. Blake Wright, a guy who hasn't been going great with the bat, at least so far. Hitting 189 coming into the day. Last time we saw the Gateman, he was hitting leadoff. Now hitting 6th today. 0-1. Popped up, back of the plate, foul. And 0-2 on the Gateman shortstop. So Hess so far has featured that 4-pitch mix. Question mark, maybe 5, depending on who you ask. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. But occasionally throws that slider with good velocity to where it registers as a cut fastball that heads in on left-handed hitters, outside to righties. Some late break. 0-2. Swing and a miss. And speaking of late break, got Wright to swing over the top of what looked like a curveball, and there's out number 2 here in the top of the second.
And it was a nasty one, too. So we've seen Grayson hits curveball with another Alabama pitcher where it comes up high and it drops quickly. That's what you call a descending curveball. With Hess, it breaks a little bit later, and it's more of a traditional curveball from Hess, with a right-handed pitcher. That's kind of expected, but, it works out for him. He's got a couple put-away pitches. It's so important for pitchers to have put-away pitches, as is, what you start out with.
2 outs, runner at first, and the first offering to Kellum Clark is swung over badly, and it's 0-1 on the Gateman designated hitter, hitting 7th. Clark played the last time these two teams met, had a couple walks and drove in a run. Hitting .261 on the summer with Campos over at first base. Second inning with no score here at Guv Fuller Field. And Ben Hess trying to work around a 1-out walk. Breaking ball tailed away from him, down and away. Count 1-1. Not a cloud in the sky here today at the Guv. And as you've probably seen from our great videographers here, it is a picturesque setting for a baseball game here tonight. 1-1. Down and away again. Clark wouldn't go fishing. It's 2-1.
This may be the largest crowd that we've had here at the Guv this season. We had a good one for opening night, and weather wasn't even that great that day.
Well, it's finally warming up, and figure the local elementary school age kids are finally out of school. May as well bring them over for a game. As Hess throws over, and Campos is back. We saw one of the final days of school yesterday out at Brewster at that school field. 2-1. Fouled back, 2-2. When we first got there at Brewster, there were a whole bunch of kids playing on that playground. And
having recess.
It looked like a lot of fun. I was waiting for you to finish opening the door with our writer, Tommy Mumaw. And one of those kids came up to me and asked if we were doing a live stream. I was surprised he even knew what that word meant.
Those kids have probably hopped on Fortnite, know about Twitch here and there too. So I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised.
2-2, runner goes, fouled off by Clark, and the count stays at 2-2. Well, I guess Generation Alpha is just that much different.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I mean, if you flash it back to where we were kids, I would ask them what they are doing. You know, how are they doing this? I only know the Wii, and that's about it.
Or if we were about to be on TV.
Yeah.
2-2 the count on Clark, with Campos at first base, 2 down here, top of the second. Hess is 2-2. Tapped foul, and Clark putting up a lengthy at bat here. So Campos took off the one time. He's had to slide into first a couple different times. He's gotten the front of his jersey dirty. See how aggressive they want to be with 2 down here. Clark at the plate. 2-2. There he goes. Pitch low and in. The throw by Peyton is a little late. And Campos into second with a stolen base.
Not often do you see catchers stealing bases, but we have one right here. Ryan Campos getting a good jump on the ball. Wasn't, the best pitch to run on. It was best case scenario for Wareham, a breaking ball that went low and in. Makes Campos' life easier. Now he's on second. One hit can make this a 1-0 Wareham lead.
Campos now 1 for 1 on the summer in stolen bases. First time he's swiped a bag with the Gatemen. And Kellum Clark a chance to give the Gatemen their first lead of the game. 3-2 the count on him, as Hess bluffs a move back to second. So Clark, the left-handed hitter, just trying to fight to stay alive here. 3-2 the count with 2 down. Three-two. Swing and a miss. Hess gets him to end the top of the second inning. Second straight punch out. And it ends the Gatemen half of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and they leave a man. We head to the bottom of the second with Pinckney, Collins, and Britchard. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Commodores when we come back.
Cartwheel.
I'm not a gymnast. I think I'd pull something if I did a cartwheel.
Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm going to go with fly, honestly. I think flying would be pretty cool. Be able to be up in the air around everybody, fly with some birds. Be pretty cool stuff, Carson.
Okay, Anders, now do your best and favorite dance move.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Hey Commodore fans, Logan Soforenko with you. The Falmouth Commodores defeated the Wareham Gatemen in their contest last week with a final score of 12-9. The Commodores trailed by as many as 3 runs, but a 6-run top of the 6th inning put them on top 7-4, and the Doors did not look back. They led by as many as 8 runs, but the Falmouth Commodores walked away with only a 3-run victory as the Wareham Gatemen put up a 5 spot in the bottom of the 9th inning. And guys, we talked about the weather, how it might have been a problem, especially for relief pitchers that night. It was one of the coldest games this season, and it had the most wind. Tonight, on the other hand, clear skies, not a cloud in sight, and we are all wearing short sleeves. Guys, back to you.
Well, it's been a balmy evening so far at Guv Fuller Field between the Wareham Gatemen and the Falmouth Commodores. Temperatures up around 80 degrees at first pitch, which was almost 30 minutes ago. Still in the high 70s. Not a lot of breeze. And quite a few fans have come out here to the park to enjoy this Western Division matchup. We still have no score. So on a hot day in between two teams that lit up the scoreboard in their last meeting, it's been all quiet on the offensive front so far. Doors left 2 in the first. Gateman just stranded a runner at second in the second. And now Andrew Pinckney, the center fielder hitting 6th, comes to the plate after yesterday's heroics in the field in that 9th inning against the Whitecaps. First pitch taken for ball 1, so usual first pitch swinger taking up high, and it's 1-0. Grayson Moore, the right-hander, looking in. Fastball on the outer half and a good one. 1-1 the count on Pinckney. So Pinckney 0 for 1 yesterday, but made a SportsCenter top 10 catch in the 9th inning as he grounds this one. A high bounce to Anderson at third, and a long throw beats him to the bag. Out number 1 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Pinckney retired, and Corey Collins coming to the plate.
From Georgia, number 25, Corey Collins.
So pretty effective start for Moore on the mound. His 3rd ground ball out off the bat of Pinckney, and Collins now steps to the plate seeking his first hit of the summer. He's 0 for 10. Breaking ball leaked up and in, and a 1-0 on the Falmouth designated hitter. Collins involved in a bizarre play yesterday at Brewster, playing right field. 1-0. Pop foul left side, way high and out of play. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Brewster shortstop Alex Freeland hit a ball well to right center field that appeared to us, at least at ground level, like it hit the ground once and bounced over the fence. Collins held his hands up as if to say it was a ground rule double immediately. 1-1 pitch is hit well this time to center field. Robertson going back, still going back, and it's off the base of the wall. Collins motoring to second. He turns the corner and now slams on the brakes and heads back with a 1-out double here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Well, I can confirm that one was a double. How about it from Corey Collins, going to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, going opposite field. I thought that was gone off the swing of the bat. It sounded so good off the lumber of Collins. It just got the base of the wall there. Sometimes it's a little tough to tell if it's gone or not with that maroon setting on the fence there. But Collins getting aboard. Opportunity for the Doors here.
First hit, first extra base hit for Collins this summer on a similar looking ball to the one that Freeland hit yesterday as Drew Brutcher swings and misses at the first offering from Moore. Just to complete that story, Collins watched that ball bounce over the fence, but the umpires conferred and then called it a home run on what was a pretty controversial play. In that outfield where Robertson was running, 0-1 on Brutcher is outside, and it's 1-1. So not only is it a squared off area, it's not a perfectly round outfield. It's hard to tell from the camera angles we have, but the fences meet at a point that forms an angle. It's not a perfectly circular outfield fence. We haven't really seen those creases come into play, though, in left and right center to the deepest parts of the park. 1-1 up high on Brutcher, and it's 2-1. Collins hit that ball. It looked very good off the bat, but I think now we see the evidence of how the ball is going to carry in this weather. Not a lot of wind today. It's fairly warm. And I think Robertson out there in center for Wareham was a little surprised that that ball kept tailing over his head further and further. 2-1 on Brutcher. Swinging a line drive, center field. That gets down. Collins puts the brakes on at third. And it's a single for Drew Brutcher with 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And now runners at first and third with only 1 away.
And now it brings up an opportunity that Anthony McKenzie is very familiar with. The last time Anthony took on the Wareham Gatemen along with the rest of his Commodores, it was McKenzie that had a 3-run blast in the 6th inning.
And that home run by McKenzie broke a 4-4 tie and put the cherry on top of what was a massive inning for the Commodores at that point. Not only in that game, but they hadn't really been hitting anything heading into the matchup with Wareham. They've since been better on the offensive end, but still a little bit of meat on the bone for the Doors offense. They'd like to capitalize. Breaking ball down low to the switch hitting McKenzie, batting left-handed against the righty Moore. Runners at first and third. Collins with a double. Brutcher followed it up with a single. And an RBI chance for McKenzie in the number 9 spot. 1-0. Check swing, full strike, 1-1. McKenzie, a guy who offers some versatility at the bottom of the lineup as a switch hitter. He's really hitting his way into the lineup as a natural infielder, but they stick him over in left, where he has played a couple times this season. 1-1 out, up and away. 2-1 the count. So first start of the summer for Grayson Moore after his first outing was a relief appearance against Chatham on the 20th. Went 2 1/3, allowed 1 hit, no runs. Struck out 2. His 2-1. Good fastball on the inside corner. Had McKenzie raising his elbows to get out of the way, and the count even at 2-2.
When you have a batter raising the elbows like that and you find the inner part of the zone, that is one of the most satisfying things as a pitcher. You know, that tells you, you didn't like that? Oh, I'm going to do it again right here.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the glove of Campos. And a huge strikeout for Moore. Here in the bottom of the second, he gets McKenzie whiffing, and Alex Mooney, the hitter, with 2 on and 2 down. An inopportune time for McKenzie to come up empty, but now the top of the Falmouth order coming back around. Mooney 0 for 1 today, grounded out to short his first time up. Came into the evening hitting .243 on the summer with 4 walks. Routinely puts the ball in play. Infield for Wareham, normal depth. Moore's first offering. Low and in, and it's 1-0. With Collins at third, Brutcher at first. Here at Guv Fuller Field, Wareham right-hander Grayson Moore trying to worm his way out of a jam. 1-0. Swing and a drive to left field. Windish heading over towards the line, and he's got it. Out number 3. So another threat and another fire extinguished for Wareham as Mooney flies out to end the bottom of the second. Top of the third coming around. Evans, Robertson, and Hausinger. 8, 9, and 1 in the Wareham order when we come back at a 0-0 game.
Want to house a Falmouth Commodore? Be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding. Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll doors.
Welcome back to the top of the third inning here at Guv Fuller Field. Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen locked up so far in a scoreless tie. Both teams with threats so far, but no dice on the scoring end. as the Doors had back-to-back hits in the second off the bats of Collins and Brutcher, but couldn't capitalize. And now 8, 9, and 1 coming around in the Wareham order. Ty Evans, Michael Robertson, and Jack Hausinger. So here comes Evans. First at bat of the day against the right-hander Hess, on for his third inning. First pitch to him off the fist, softly blooped into right field, base hit. So Evans snaps an 0 for 11 start to his summer with that base knock. And the Gatemen had the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the third inning.
Not just him, but a lot of Florida Gators on this team, Carter, have been struggling this season. Something one of the opposing broadcasters for the Gatemen and one of our really good friends back at Syracuse University, Cameron Ezair, told us was that the Gators, these Gator players on the Gatemen are like 1 per 30 or something like that this
Runner
season.
goes, but Peyton couldn't get it out of his glove. Stolen base, second of the game for the Gatemen offense. This time Evans swipes second. Campos had one back in the second, and Michael Robertson, with a count 0-1, can drive in the first run of this game with a good swing. But as you said, Evans with that 0 for 11 start. A 1 pitch called strike, certainly contributing to that cold start. Florida Gators players just litter the Cape. Colby Halter, one of them on the Commodores.
They're chopping all over.
0-2. Down low as Peyton corrals it, and it's 1-2. Robertson, a guy also trying to get it going, has an 0 for 11 start to his credit. These two Florida guys hitting 8th and 9th. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Make it 0 for 12 for Robertson. He goes down swinging, and there's one out here in the top of the third. Top of the Wareham order coming back around as Jack Hausinger rolls up to the plate with Evans at second.
Hausinger hasn't had a bad season whatsoever. Coming into today, hitting .344, which is tied for 5th in the Cape League. Has himself 11 hits on the season as well.
Hausinger had a spectacular game a week ago against the Commodores. Tapped foul right side, 0-1 the count. Hausinger in that game was 3 for 3 with 2 walks. Also drove in a run. At the time was hitting .235, but has since improved his average to .344. So he used the Doors as a bit of a springboard to get his bat juiced. 0-1. Rocketed to center field. Pinckney tracing back to his left, very deep and off the wall. Evans coming around third. He'll score without a throw. And Hausinger stands at second base with an RBI double. 1-0 Gatemen here in the top of the third.
So choked up on that bat. If there was another pitch in that AB I was going to talk about, but I'll discuss it now. But Jack Hausinger, the way he was choked up on that bat was astronomical. We've seen a lot of guys be choked up on the bat this season. You know, a couple of guys that could to it. Jack Hausinger doing the same thing, doing whatever he can to get on base, and it works out for him, getting it all the way in Guv Fuller Field's very own triple alley over there in right center.
Hausinger now at second, first run of the game, and the threat not over as Hogan Windish takes up high for ball 1. From Ben Hess, who came into today in his first 7 innings of the summer across 2 games with no extra base hits allowed. And that double, the first of its kind, off the bat of the Wareham leadoff hitter. Windish coming into this game just shredding with the bat. 1-0. Catches the lower inside corner, and it's 1-1. Fastball from Hess on the gun at 88. The Windish, a .350 hitter. Top 10 in the Cape Cod League so far in that category. A little further inside, and it's 2-1. Hess trying to deal with another threat. Hausinger has drawn his fair share of walks, his fair share of base hits, can also steal a bag. 2-1. Fouled back. 2-2 on Windish. Wareham left fielder adjusting his gloves. 0 for 1 so far today. Had a strong fly out to right field. Hit pretty well off the bat, but didn't get all of it. He can make this a big inning with a better swing here with 1 out and Hausinger at second base. Hess looking him back. 2-2 breaking ball is up shoulder high. And the count goes full on Windish, who has typically pretty good control of the strike zone. He takes his walks. 3 of them so far this summer. 3-2. Tapped foul left side. Count stays full. Righty on righty matchup. Hess trying to put away perhaps the most dangerous hitter in this Wareham lineup. Already trailing 1-0. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Hess does just that. He sits down Windish for the second time today. This time on strikes, and there's 2 away here in the top of the 3rd. Hausinger still at second, and Max Anderson, the batter.
He's one of the strikeout victims that Hess has gotten. That's now 5 strikeouts for the Alabama righty today.
First pitch to Anderson is fouled back. 0-1 the count, and 91 on the fastball. We've seen some readings for Hess on the heater today, sticking in the high 80s. He's thrown as hard as 93 out at Alabama. Maybe getting it dialed up a little bit here. More so with 2 outs to escape the threat. 0-1. Breaking ball popped up on the infield. Halter and Walsh. It's Walsh. And that's out number 3 in the top of the 3rd inning. Hess gets out of the threat and strands a runner at second base. It's 1-0 Gatemen as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Guv Fuller Field.
Hey Commodores fans, sharpen your baseball skills with some of America's finest players from the best college programs in the country. Clinic attendees will have opportunities to work on hitting, base running, infield and outfield play, as well as pitching and catching. Attendees will also participate in Commodores Chat, where coaches and players discuss topics like sportsmanship, academics, teamwork, and other issues important to being an all-around player. Clinics are offered Tuesday, June 21st through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 3 separate clinics will be offered for ages 5 to 14.
Well, here at Guv Fuller Field, we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning between the Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen. And the Doors suddenly trail in this game. A leadoff single in the top of the 3rd by Ty Evans and an RBI double by Wareham second baseman Jack Hausinger plated the first run of this game for either team. Falmouth trying to answer back, but they have been ice cold on offense since the first inning of yesterday's game when they scored 4 runs. The Brewster pitching staff yesterday evening sat down the final 15 Commodore hitters in order. So far today, the Doors have left 4, 2 in each of their first 2 times at bat. So they've had the base runners, but trying to cash in the runs. They've got a good candidate to get things started here in the bottom of the 3rd in the form of Colby Halter, a guy who entered this evening hitting .400 with 8 walks. Lefty batter against the righty Moore. Fastball tapped foul back of the plate. 0-1 on Halter. We're running out of ways to describe this Florida Gator. We tried our best yesterday at Brewster. We've tried spark plug. We've tried a boost of energy, a grinder, old-fashioned player, throwback player. Just about everything in the book. 0-1. Lined up the middle, base hit. And there goes Halter again. Leadoff single here in the bottom of the third inning.
Could say he's also got that dog in him. Good base hit there from Halter. Also choked up on the bat as well. What's up with lefties being choked up on the bat so much today? Either way, Colby gets himself a base hit. But now what it comes down to, Carter, is can Falmouth bring guys around? You mentioned it. 4 guys left on base in these first 2 innings, 2 in the first and 2 in the second. It's so important for the heart of the Falmouth order to bring these guys around and get the doors on the board.
4th hit of the day for Falmouth. As Moore deals with Braden Taylor, who pops the first pitch up, foul ground. Anderson giving it a run and makes the catch. Halter tags from first. He's headed for second, and he gets there as the throw skips away from Hausinger.
Well, that was a little unexpected. How about Halter, though, being aggressive there? You know, he realizes that the third baseman, Anderson, was moving all the way to his left side near the fans over there where that gravel track is, I guess. Gravel warning track, I'm not entirely sure. But props to Halter there, taking advantage. A Ty Cobb-esque guy running over there from first to second base, just trying to be how aggressive he can on the base pass. He's showing it.
A tag from first base on a pop-up to foul ground to third base. I can't remember the last time I've seen that.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Moore now dealing with Peyton. Breaking ball in for strike 1, and it's 0-1 on the Falmouth catcher.
I mean, if I had remember seeing it, it'd probably be in Oakland where the foul ground is just so far out at the, what is it, Oakland Coliseum? I don't even know what the sponsor is anymore for that place. But either way, that's where I would see it.
0-1. Big cut, and Peyton came up empty. It's 0-2. But Halter's hustle play now keeps the Doors out of a double play situation. He stands at second as the tying run. Peyton at the plate already 1 for 1 today and hitting .300 this summer, including his single today. Halter dancing around at second. He goes for third. The 0-2 in the dirt, and Campos has no chance. 1-2 the count on Peyton, but Halter just motoring his way around the bases, this time with a steal of third, his 5th stolen base in 6 tries this summer.
That's huge. You know, you're at the top of the order for a reason. You give your team the best chance to win. Halter in the second spot is one of those reasons. He's proven it right now. If Peyton puts a ball in play, whether it's on the ground or it's a sac fly, Halter's scoring, and that's all you can ask for.
1-2. Ooh, Peyton did what he could to stay alive there with a big breaking ball at 71 miles an hour. He stayed back and tapped it foul on what was basically a slow pitch softball offering from the hand of Moore. That speed differential is mighty big. Fastball low 90s, and then you throw a curveball that's 20 miles an hour slower. Halter at third with 1 down. Peyton trying to drive him in. 1-2. Fouled back. Peyton doing what he can to just put this ball in play. If you're Moore, Trey, you may want to go back to that big breaking ball. It's been his best breaking pitch so far in this game by far. Infield for the Gatemen looks to be conceding this run unless Peyton just torches a ground ball towards someone. 1-2. This time went to the slider, low and away. They appeal to first on the check swing, and Joseph Carrico says no swing, it's 2-2. Peyton with a good at bat. Now just trying to finish it off with an exclamation point with Halter at third and 1 down. Moore appearing in with the setting sun on his face. Fastball fouled right back, and the count stays at 2-2. And Moore has shown him pretty much his whole arsenal in this at bat. Fastball, that big curveball. Threw him a slider he didn't bite at. We'll see what Moore goes to here as they try the 2-2 again. Peyton ready. Here it is. Swing and a miss. And Moore with a massive strikeout here in the bottom of the third. He gets Peyton swinging. And Jacob Walsh now the hitter with Halter at third and 2 down.
Last time we saw Walsh come up to the plate, he ended the bottom of the first. We talked about it, how important it is to not leave guys on base. Walsh has got to come through here. You know, if he puts something in the right center field in the Guv Fuller Field's triples alley, he'll take that any day of the week. Keep the inning going. Do whatever you can to keep it alive if you're Jacob here.
Breaking ball snaps over, and for the second straight at bat, Walsh has watched one of those go by for strike one. But not much you can do with that big looping curveball. Moore's had good command of it today, and he's caught a couple hitters totally off guard with it. Another one, second straight, and it's 0-2.
As a hitter, you got to do whatever you can not to make moves like that. Because if you do, if you make that flinch, guys like Moore are going to realize it. You know, and then he's going to take advantage. You never want a pitcher to take advantage of you in a way like this.
0-2. Fastball outside, so he tried to tunnel it after 2 straight curveballs, but Walsh wouldn't go after it. And that's a pitch that you just can't be ready for. You can't go up to the plate looking for a 70-mile-an-hour curveball. You've got to look fastball and adjust. And when you get something that slow and you don't expect it, you get flinches like that. 1-2. Tapped foul off the end of the bat.
There was that slow curveball.
1-2 again. Yeah. This time it's 77.
You can see with Walsh too, he flinched a little bit before he swung at that 77-mile-an-hour curveball.
So Moore has got a solid release point tonight. His secondary offerings are coming out of that same slot where the fastball is, and it's caught a lot of Commodore hitters off guard. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Second straight strikeout. Ends the bottom of the third. The Doors get a base hit off the bat of Colby Halter, and he gets to third but does not score. We head to the top of the fourth with the Gatemen leading 1-0.
Hottest take.
Hottest take. Hottest take is that a straw has 2 holes, not 1.
What is your favorite place in Falmouth?
My favorite place in Falmouth right now, I would say, is Shoreway Acres Inn. A bunch of us, the interns, are staying there, and we're having such a great time getting to know each other.
Can you give me your best British accent?
Scott Sterling.
Is cereal a soup?
No, it's cereal. It's its own thing, right? What soup have you had with milk in it?
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen are locked up in this Saturday evening clash. And so far, it's been a frustrating one for the Commodores. They have left 5 runners through 3 times at bat. 3 of them in scoring position, including Colby Halter, who was stranded at third with 1 out in the bottom of the third. And now the Wareham Gatemen back up to bat again. Top of the 4th inning. Roden, Campos, and Wright, 4, 5, and 6 in their order. Coming up against right-hander Ben Hess on for inning number 4. And Alan Roden, the first baseman and cleanup hitter, is the one to start things as Braden Taylor and Hess exchange that fist bump on the mound. And a very, very talented hitter to deal with at the plate right now. Roden, including his ground out today, 1 for 9 on the summer. But this guy absolutely mashed the baseball out at Creighton this spring. First pitch to him is popped way high and foul left side and drifting away from everybody, 0-1. Roden in his sophomore spring this past season, a .387 hitter out at Creighton. OPS over 1,000, 46 driven in. .01. Popped foul again, 0-2. But the most impressive thing about him statistically at Creighton is how hard it was to strike him out.
194 at-bats, 8 strikeouts on the season.
No
for Roden.
way.
Struck out looking just one time, and it took him 228 plate appearances to do it. 0-2 the count Hess has on him here. Outside 1-2. So Roden, a guy with good command of the strike zone, was the Big East Freshman of the Year last year and was the co-Big East Player of the Year this year.
It's like the Tony Gwynn of the Big East. Guy who never struck out, crowded the plate in the left-handed batter's box. He's doing it right here, too.
Doesn't strike out a lot. Fouls it off, and you see why.
Yeah. Pitches like that. You know, he's not going to go down without a fight. The zone opens up so much more when you have 2 strikes on you. And like I said a little bit earlier in our broadcast, it's, you know, you got to be a little bit smarter when you're down 2 strikes. You know exactly what's going to come at you. You know, is this a ball? Is it a strike? You do not know? Okay, I'm going to swing at it. You know, got to do whatever you can to stay alive.
1-2 from Hess. Little bit low, and it's 2-2. Awfully close there for the Falmouth right-hander. Good slider. Now 2-2 on the left-handed hitting Roden. 2-2. Line to right into the gap. Brutcher trying to cut it off. It goes and bounces up against the wall as Roden scurries his way to second base with a leadoff double here in the top of the 4th inning.
No wonder why it was so hard to strike him out of Creighton. He kept fighting until the very end. That's what cleanup hitters do. That's just what good hitters do right there, Carter. Keep going until you find one. You know, we talked about pitchers, how they can take control of at-bats. Hitters, it's fighting off 2-strike pitches until they get something they really, really like.
25 doubles for Roden at Creighton this spring, his first of the summer. Only the 2nd hit with the Gatemen so far. And Ryan Campos at the plate. Strike on the outside corner. Hess got the benefit of a call, and it's 0-1. Changeup from the right-hander to start out Campos, who walked his first time up and later stole second. Gatemen leading by a run and threatening here with a leadoff man at second and nobody out. 0-1 late swing from Campos, who went chasing after a pitch in the dirt, and it's 0-2. Sun beginning to set here at Guv Fuller Field as you see the hitters in the shadows. Sun still on Hess on the mound. 0-2, this one down low, and it's 1-2. We were told before the game, with regards to Roden, the man on second, that he came over to Wareham only recently and was basically a plug-and-play guy. Put him in the lineup right away to play first base, and according to Cam Izaire, one of the Wareham broadcasters, he made some of the other guys at first base expendable. Fouled off the plate and into the glove of Peyton for strike 3. Campos down on strikes. Roden still at second, and we've seen some big strikeouts in this game from both pitchers to strand runners in scoring position. Blake Wright now the batter, the shortstop hitting 6th with 1 away, but most importantly, Roden did not advance off the second base bag while Campos was hitting. He's still stuck there with Wright at the plate, a strikeout victim his first time up back in the 2nd. Fastball grounded fair to the left side. Taylor fields, and Walsh had to corral the throw for out number 2. Slow bounding ball over there to third base, and Braden Taylor had to wait to see if it was fair. Quick reaction and a quick trigger throw was enough to nail Wright for the 2nd out.
And Taylor there, you know, he went right after it. You know, he was going to get the call whatever it was. He had to go after because he didn't know. It's like what a hitter is with 2 strikes. With a fielder, who whatever corner they're on, and there's a chopper like that, you ask yourself, is that fair? Is that foul? Wait, do I not know? Okay, I'm still going to go after it just in case. Taylor made the right move, Great adjustment by Walsh on the other side of the infield.
Kellum Clark now the batter. He skies the first pitch. He attacks it over to left field. McKenzie makes the catch for out number 3. And that ends the threat in the top of the 4th inning. A leadoff double by Alan Roden, and he stays at third without scoring. It's 1-0 Gatemen as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Trey Redfield will take over play-by-play duties when we come back.
Hey Commodores fans, sharpen your baseball skills with some of America's finest players from the best college programs in the country. Clinic attendees will have opportunities to work on hitting, base running, infield and outfield play, as well as pitching and catching. Attendees will also participate in Commodores Chat, where coaches and players discuss topics like sportsmanship, academics, teamwork, and other issues important to being an all-around player. Clinics are offered Tuesday, June 21st through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 3 separate clinics will be offered for ages 5 to 14.
We're into the bottom of the 4th inning here at Guv Fuller Field, and the Commodores trailed the Gatemen by a score of 1-0. With Carter Bainbridge, I'm Trey Redfield. There's a new pitcher on the mound for Wareham, and his name is Eric Swan. Right-handed pitcher out of Middle Tennessee State, where he tossed 52 innings for the Blue Raiders this season, striking out 44 batters while walking 33, posting a 7.62 ERA. So with Swan in, that means Moore's afternoon is done. Carter, not too bad from the Vandy boy.
Certainly not. He kept the Falmouth hitters off balance every single time they came up. Had a really good curveball working tonight. Low 70s, matched up well with a low 90s fastball. The Doors did leave 5 runners on base, so he wasn't impeccable. But considering this guy was making his first start of the summer after a bullpen appearance, definitely gave Wareham the outing that they wanted from him.
And Moore, with Vanderbilt this season, only had 1 start. 12 appearances this season, one of those being starts. But into the bottom of the 4th, it's Swan's turn on the bump. And the due-up that he's facing against Falmouth is Andrew Pinckney, Corey Collins, and Drew Brutcher. Pinckney is 0 for 1 on the afternoon. He grounded out to third to start off the 2nd. The name sounds familiar. You may have listened to our broadcast last night against Brewster, where Pinckney was the hero, moving to his left side, making a diving snag to secure a 4-3 win for the Doors, as Pinckney fouls the first pitch back and out of play, something he usually does. He loves to attack the fastball if it's there on the first pitch.
He's a first pitch hacker, at least from what we've seen from him so far.
Swan standing at 6'6" and 240 pounds. Deals the 0-1 that goes foul over to the Wareham dugout on the left side. It's now 0-2.
Swan, a guy with 3 pretty good pitches. Fastball in the mid-90s. Got a good changeup and a slider that's been described as above average. He's got a couple different ways to get you out.
Pinckney choked up on the bat a little bit more. Here comes the 0-2. Fastball outside, now 1-2. Pinckney's a center fielder out of Alabama who improved throughout the season. Saw most of his time with the Crimson Tide in center field. A little bit of games where he was in right field as well. 1-2. Going with the curveball, goes foul over to the right side this time. Nice play by Ryan Eiley over there, our first base coach. He does that a lot. So good to see a smile on his face with this one, because not often does he make those plays. Got to give Ryan some credit. Here comes the 1-2. Outside, count even. Pinckney with the Tide started in 56 games out of 58, where he hit .303 with 7 home runs and 32 RBIs. As he cuts on and misses at strike 3, there's one gone here in the 4th.
Well, third straight Doors hitter that struck out. Peyton and Walsh did it to end the 3rd, and now Pinckney, first victim for Swan in this game. got a pretty effortless delivery on the mound. Kind of comes over from a arm slot that has some deception. He kind of holds it late in his release point. Doesn't give the hitter a lot of chance to see the ball out of the hand.
Here's Corey Collins. Looks at ball one a little bit inside. So it's 1-0 on the designated hitter out of Georgia. Spent most of his time there playing DH for the Bulldogs, especially in 2021, where he started in 44 games at the DH spot, only 8 of them behind the plate. So he cuts at the 1-0 and fouls it back, count even at 1. So a catcher, DH for the Bulldogs, has seen a lot of work in the outfield this season with the Commodores. Most of his appearances are in left field. He was in right field yesterday against Brewster. Corey going all over the place to find his way into the lineup for Falmouth. He lines the 1-1 up the middle and through for a base hit. Corey Collins now 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. And Falmouth has itself a base runner with Drew Brutcher coming up to the plate.
Well, you figured the bat of Collins would get going eventually. Coming into the day, 0 for 10, now has a double and a single to his credit. Really made the hardest contact of the day on that 2-bagger back in the second inning. That's what the Doors need for sure.
First pitch to Brutcher. Cut on and miss for strike 1. Drew this season with 29 at-bats. That's the second most on Falmouth this season, hitting 138. Just 4 hits on the year, has himself a homer and 3 RBIs. As the 0-1 comes in, he fouls it back. Drew is in a hole.
You figure some of these guys who have struggled with the average and the bat in the early going, you know, you want to play in summer ball, obviously, but everybody needs a few days off. Unfortunately for Drew, the Doors have all their infield positions stacked. They have fewer outfielders who they like to play a lot, so he's been up at the plate struggling in the early going.
Collins on first as the 0-2 comes in, and he got him on strikes. A little bit of a late strike call there from Jason Hump, but Brutcher goes down with a backwards K. That's Swan's second strikeout in just 2/3 innings pitched.
And he got a little bit of a wide call of that inside corner. I think Brutcher, it was a perfectly fair pitch for him to take, but unlucky with the call. And now 2 down for Anthony McKenzie.
McKenzie went down swinging in the second. First pitch in his second at-bat, he fouls it off himself. So it's 0-1 to the Sam Houston State Bearcat, who's playing in left field. That's where he was last time the Commodores took on the Gatemen. That was last Saturday, where the Doors put up a lot of runs in the 6th and 8th innings. It's a high-scoring game, 12-9 final over at Spillane Field. 0-1, misses high, count even at 1. We'll be back in Wareham on Tuesday as we do the whole road trip thing again.
Certainly didn't envy McKenzie out there at Wareham playing left. Every single ball hit in the air out there looked like it was out off the bat.
1-1 to Anthony's foul back, now 1-2. Now, I'll tell you what, when you're on top of a dugout calling a baseball game, you'll see a lot of balls that you think are going to get out. They look so good, but they just die at the wall for some reason. That may have been just the cold weather that day, but that was the first impression that we had. The 1-2. McKenzie checks his swing. It's now 2-2.
The Doors were lucky that those balls were dying at the wall, because if they hadn't done that in the 9th inning, they might not have even won that game.
Yeah. It was 12-4 going into the bottom of the 9th, and Wareham put up 5 runs. Falmouth ended up taking it 12-9, but we were a little nervous up there. 2-2. Breaking ball down the pipe, down looking goes McKenzie. So Eric Swan coming in for his first inning of work. All 3 outs done by him. Heading into the top of the 5th. 8-9-1 due up for the Gatemen when we come back. Want a house of Falmouth Commodore? Be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding.
Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll doors.
It's a Louisville Cardinal battery to start off the top of the fifth here at Guv Fuller Field, where the Commodores trail the Gatemen by a score of 1-0. It's Caleb Corbett on the mound for the Doors. Righty out of Louisville, where he had 20 games this season, 2 of those starts, 2-1 the record with an 8.10 ERA in 23 1/3 innings pitched. So Ben Hess's night, it's done. He had himself 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Carter, not too bad from Ben.
No, definitely not, and it's another good start for him, another four inning outing. The problem for Hess is that he just hasn't had run support. First start of the season, for him, the Doors were shut out by Katuitt. And his last time out, they struggled with the bats against Orleans. He pitched one of the games in that doubleheader, gave up only 2 hits, struck out 4. So he just set a new season high in strikeouts with 6, but leaves trailing 1-0. And Caleb Corbett, low 90s fastball, slider low 80s, his 2 primary weapons, and he's working, like you said, with his Louisville teammate and catcher Jack Payton.
Stepping into the box is Ty Evans, the right fielder out of Florida. Got himself a single in the 3rd. He's the only run scored today. Corbett's first offering. A chopper over the middle. Can Mooney get it? No, he can't. Rolling into the outfield for a leadoff base hit. Evans is aboard for the 2nd time today. How about the bottom of the order for Wareham getting it done?
That's Ty Evans, right fielder, entering the day 0 for 11, but now 2 for 2. 2 singles and a stolen base to his credit, so he's finally getting things going. Robertson, the number 9 hitter, came in on an exact same 0 for 11 slide. Now 0 for 12. See if Corbett can make it 0 for 13.
Michael Robinson in the box. First pitch to him is a swing and a miss for strike 1. It's actually a swing and a tip, but either way, Corbett will take it. He's ahead 0-1.
And just the Doors' luck that Evans is even playing to begin with. It's usually Ian Farrow's spot in the outfield. He made a key error last night in the loss to Hyannis and was pulled from the game in the 7th inning.
Robertson shows bunt, pulls it back, now 1-1.
So Farrow starting his day on the bench for the Gatemen. Evans in his spot. It's paid off.
Couple of teams here at the Guv tied for 4th place in the Western Division. Corbett deals the 1-1. Finds the outer half, now 1-2.
Corbett had plenty of relief work at Louisville this spring, 20 appearances, 18 of them out of the bullpen, an 8.10 ERA in 23 1/3 innings. Struck out 24.
Going with the breaking ball, foul to the left side.
Robertson, a guy who coming into this summer doesn't have a lot of recent reps. He was injured this past season, did not play for the Gators his freshman year, so can't really blame him for the cold start at the plate. He just hasn't had a lot of work as of late.
1-2. Going with the breaking ball again. It's a line shot to right field and down for a base hit. Couple of Gators getting out of Schneids for the Gatemen, and they're now standing at 2nd and 3rd. Diving in safely is Robertson with a double.
This is an inauspicious start for Caleb Corbett in his season debut. Leadoff single by Evans, now a double by Robertson, and all of a sudden the Gatemen have a big threat going against this Falmouth right-hander. Certainly more than anything they ever got going against Ben Hess. Now a big jam. With the way the doors are hitting, you've got to lock down here. Try to give up only one if you can, as the corners of the Commodore infield now come in.
Jack Hausinger up for the third time tonight. He's the leadoff guy for Wareham as he looks at ball one on the outer half. Hausinger last time up ripped a double to right center field. So if you want to say this is worst case scenario for Falmouth, you're probably right. 2 runners in scoring position. Hausinger ahead 1-0. And the Doors trailing 1-0. The fastball finds the knees. It's now 1-1.
You see Hausinger kind of grimace at that call. I would have to agree with him a little bit there. I think that was probably a ball. Corbett trying to get whatever breaks he can here.
Still has not posted it out here in the top of the 5th. 1-1. Going with the fastball again. Peyton blocks it. Now 2-1 on Hausinger to Xavier Musketeer. Rising senior playing second base tonight for the Gatemen. It's Evans on third. Robertson on second. Corbett with the 2-1. A little bit upstairs. Now 3-1.
Corbett's overthrowing right now. That's his main problem. Fastball sailing on him up high, and he's yanking it down in the dirt. I think he's trying to rear back and throw as hard as he possibly can, but he really can't do that right now. He's just got to hit his spots, got to think down, think outer half. You know, don't try to throw it hard. Throw it with your mechanics and let it move.
3-1. Down the pipe, cut on and miss, strike 2.
And you come close to the zone, that's the result. And a fastball with good life on it. Hausinger well late. And we know how well he's been swinging the bat lately, including in this game. Your one big pitch from registering a big first out here in this top of the 5th.
Hausinger hitting .344 coming into tonight. That's tied for 5th in the CCBL. Fouls the payoff pitch back. We'll do it again. An RBI double from Hausinger in the 3rd to give Wareham its only run and the game's only run tonight.
Yeah, this is not a guy you want to face in this situation, but the one on deck might be worse. You don't want to bring Windish to the plate here with the bases loaded. Corbett went back to that high fastball well. He got the swinging strike on 3-1. Hausinger fouled off the 3-2, so now it's an open question as to what he goes to here.
Hausinger choked up on the bat and then some. Looks at the payoff pitch. He's down looking. A big out there from Caleb Corbett. There's one gone here in the top of the 5th inning.
Absolutely filthy slider from the right-hander there on 3-2. And you got to have guts to throw that pitch. Caught the inside corner against the left-handed hitting Hausinger. He saw him foul the fastball straight back and trusted his breaking stuff. And round 1 goes to the right-hander.
Round 2 is Hogan Windish. It was 0 for 2 tonight for Wareham. He looks at the first pitch low, 1-0. Windish went down swinging on a full count in the 3rd, flew out to right field on a 1-0 count in the 1st. 1-0. Fastball that finds the low and inner part of the zone. It's now 1-1.
Well, after falling behind 3-1 on Hausinger, Corbett has really settled down here and made some quality pitches. First to get Hausinger looking, and now first 2 to Windish have been good as well, spotting the fastball better than he was at first.
Going with another fastball, just misses at the knees. It's now 2-1 on Windish. The UNCG Spartan was the SoCon Player of the Year, keeping the good times rolling here on Cape Cod. He's hitting .350. That's the 4th best in the CCBL. Fastball down the pipe, ripped out to right center field. Pinckney is under it. He makes the grab near the wall, throwing it over to third base. meaning Evans will score easily. It's 2-0 Wareham with 2 gone here in the top of the 5th. A sacrifice fly from Hogan Windish gives him his 6th RBI on the season.
And I think if you walked up to Corbett with a contract before that at bat that said, hey, you're going to give up 1 run and possibly get out of this inning, he'd sign it right away, especially with the quality of the last 2 hitters he faced. Strikeout and a sac fly off the bat of Windish, which is a great result because of how many different ways that hitter can hurt you.
First pitch to Max Anderson, and misses low for ball 1. Went down swinging on 3 pitches in the first, popped out to first in the 3rd. Chance to extend the Wareham lead here in the 5th, as there is a grounder over to Mooney. Picks it up, chucks it over to first, and there's the 3rd out. Wareham grabs itself another run. Top of the order coming up in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 your score. Gatemen in front of the doors.
Hey there, Commodore fans. Thanks for joining us and cheering on your Falmouth Commodores. Want to take a break from the action? Come make a visit to the merchandise booth. Check us out behind home plate. We have a bunch of new designs for you to purchase, from hats to shirts, jerseys, crew necks, wine glasses, and even baby bibs. You think of it, we probably have it. From youth sizes to even adult double XLs. We have everything you need for family and friends. Be sure to come say hello and get a piece of Falmouth merch. Make a trip before we close up shop in the 9th inning. See you soon, and roll doors.
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores trail the Wareham Gatemen 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. The Falmouth Commodores activated Garrett Coe, the left-hander from UConn today. He was the number 16 overall player in the state of Connecticut and the number 1 overall left-handed pitcher going into college at high school. And his Falmouth Commodore connection dates all the way back to high school, where at Gunnery, he was coached under the head coaching of Cape Cod coach legend Jeff Trundy. So they're looking to get something really nice out of the big left-hander from UConn, who comes in at 6'7". Guys, back to you.
Well, I wonder who Mikey Tepper was saying hello to in the stands behind you there, Logan. But the Commodores are trying to say hey to some runs here in the bottom of the 5th. Gatemen 2, Commodores nothing, as the top of the order is due up for the doors. Alex Mooney, Colby Halter, and Braden Taylor. 1, 2, 3. Looking to give Falmouth some life on the offensive end. Alex is 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out to short in the first, flew out to left field in the 2nd. Eric Swan on for his 2nd inning of work. He has 3 strikeouts already. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raider fires in strike 1. Nice breaking ball delivered to Mooney. Mooney in a spot where he always is at Duke, hitting leadoff. Another breaking ball. This one misses, and the count is even at 1.
Well, getting something going here in the bottom of the 5th, probably a little harder than it sounds for the Doors. They're now riding a 12 straight innings scoreless streak dating back to yesterday.
Fastball delivered to Mooney. That one goes foul. It's now 1-2 on the Duke Blue Devil.
And they're facing a right-hander who just threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's cranked it up previously at MTSU to 97. Just doesn't look like he's throwing all that hard, but it's getting in on these hitters pretty quickly.
His windup is so effortless, too, as the 1-2 comes in. Fastball that Mooney gets a piece of, and it's into center field for a base hit. A 2-strike swing from Alex Mooney gives Falmouth a base runner. Leadoff single for Alex. He's now 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, the Doors were behind by 4 runs the last time they played Wareham, and they came back to win that game in dramatic fashion. Did some work in the middle innings, and they've got a good duo at the top of this order to start doing some damage. Mooney on base, and Halter, a guy who's pretty much done nothing but get on base so far in his Commodore career, at least this summer.
He's 1 for 2 tonight. Choked up on the bat. Mooney goes. Strike 1. Throw down to second. Not in time. A stolen base for Alex Mooney. It's his 2nd on the season, And one hit from Halter can make this a 2-1 game. Also 2-2 if Halter does send one over the fence, but if he puts a ball in play, at least into the gaps, that could cut the deficit in half.
I like the move. You're struggling on offense. You'd be a little aggressive. Send runners. Mooney, not a usual candidate to steal bases. That's just his second of the summer. But this is a team that does run.
Next pitch gets away, and Mooney takes advantage. So in just 2 pitches, Alex Mooney has gone from first to third base. 1-1 the count on Halter.
That's what you need. That's what the running game does for you. The Doors coming in it today had stolen 12, ranked near the middle of the pack in the league. But that extra base is what now has Mooney at third base. So you figure unless the Doors really waste some opportunities here, they're going to get at least one.
1-1 Halter. Fouled back, now 1-2.
Swan hasn't been quite as sharp in this second inning of work than he was in the first when he struck out the side, allowed a single to Corey Collins, but that was it. He's thrown a wild pitch. He's been a little off with the command of the breaking ball, so if he's going to buckle down, it's got to start here with a 2-strike count on Halter.
Swan deals. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3, but out of the glove of the catcher, Ryan Campos, who throws it over to first. There's now one gone here in the bottom of the 5th. Mooney staying over at third base.
The Doors have had some really inopportune strikeouts today. We don't know if that one is going to be the worst, but with men at first and third in the second, Anthony McKenzie Cade. Then with Halter at third, Jack Payton went down swinging in the third. Now with Mooney at third and no one out, Halter down on strikes. So a couple big whiffs in this game for the Doors with men in scoring position.
So here's Taylor. He's 0 for 1 in 2 plate appearances tonight. First pitch to the TCU Horned Frog is a swing and a miss for strike 1. A foul fly out to third base in the 3rd inning was Taylor's only at-bat. He walked in the first. Chance to bring Mooney around, who's just 90 feet away. 0-1 from Swan. Fouled back, now 0-2.
Well, the Doors have 6 hits in this game, and they've had at least one in every inning. They didn't do that yesterday at Brewster when they had only 3 total base runners after the first inning the whole rest of the game. So they're getting guys on base, but they've got to start driving them in here. Eric Swan on the mound making that pretty hard. He's been dialed in since that wild pitch. 0-2, a hard count to put something in play off of.
Here it comes. Going with the off speed, misses outside and a little high as well. It's now 1-2.
Now that's slider for Swan. He's been trying to get down in this inning, but he hasn't really gotten it in the zone yet. He missed high to Mooney with it earlier in the inning. Taylor, a good candidate to work an at-bat here and just try to get something in play, whether that be on the ground or in the air.
The 1-2. Curveball misses outside, now 2-2.
You see Taylor in a lot of early 2-strike counts. It seems like first 2 pitches to the plate, at least one of them is always a strike with him. A lot of 1-2 counts, but then a lot of lengthy at-bats where he fights back and extends things against pitchers.
Seen a lot of full counts from Braden this season. Let's find out if he can force another one here. Did he go around with the fastball? No, he did not. So the answer to that question, yes. Count full to Taylor.
You've got to have a good eye and you've got to have good bat control. And Taylor has both of those things. It's how he worked 55 walks and 58 starts over at TCU this spring. But now he's got to show off the bat-to-ball skills here and get Mooney in.
Payoff pitch from Swan. Fastball, and he got him on strikes. Taylor can't believe it. Just looking at home plate umpire Jason Hump saying a couple of words to him as well. As he walks back to the first base dugout. There's 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th, and Alex Mooney is still waiting over there at third base.
I think Taylor's primary frustration is that he laid off that pitch earlier in the at-bat, and they appealed to third. And it wasn't a called strike, but
and
then
it was just a pitch
for
ago.
Strike 3. So he's telling the umpire, don't mind it, but at least be consistent.
Jack Payton at the plate, fouls the first pitch back foul and out of play. It's 0-1 on the Louisville catcher. Payton in the cleanup spot tonight, where he's 1 for 2 with a single in the first. Mooney still hanging out on third. He got aboard with a single to start off this bottom half. The 0-1 finds the inner half of the zone. It's now 0-2.
Well, it's not quite going to be a magic act for Swan to work his way out of this inning because he's really done it himself. He's made some good pitches after Mooney got to third base, really settled down. And so far, the Doors just can't do anything with it. 5 strikeouts.
And there's 6. All 6 of Eric Swan's outs have been strikeouts. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base for the Commodores as we head into the top of the 6th. 4-5-6. Do it for the Gatemen after this.
Do your best cartwheel.
I'm not a gymnast. I think I'd pull something if I did a cartwheel.
Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm going to go with fly, honestly. I think flying would be pretty cool. Be able to be up in the air around everybody, fly with some birds. Be pretty cool stuff, Carson.
Okay, Anders, now do your best and favorite dance move.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. So the Commodores home for now, but they're back on the road tomorrow and on Tuesday. Falmouth heading to Yarmouth Dennis for the last of the Sunday doubleheaders. First pitch is set for 2. And then over at Wareham on Tuesday, the Commodores take on the Gatemen at 6. But after that, the Doors are home for a little while. 29th, 30th, and July 1st, all at the Guv. And then after that, Falmouth heads over to Doran Park to face Bourne. Wherever the Commodores are this season, you can find us at youtube.com/Falmouth Commodores. Our TV and radio broadcasts are always there, and we're always happy to have you with us. Tonight, it's the Doors trailing the Gatemen by a score of 2-0 here in the top of the 6th with Carter Bainbridge and our field reporter Logan Soforenko. I'm Trey Redfield. Glad you're with us tonight on what's a beautiful night here at the Guv. The sun's starting to set behind us to our left, not a cloud in the sky. We, I think, Carter, have the largest crowd here tonight in the CCBL. Not just that, but I think this is the largest crowd this season.
It's certainly close, and you look over to the right side, it's definitely possible, but you've got to account for all the people camping out in the left side, beyond the foul line, the third base line, underneath the trees. I think there's more of them there than there has been in any game this season.
So here's Alan Roden stepping up to the plate for the 3rd time tonight. His first pitch is a breaking ball that misses low and in for ball 1.
We've seen pitchers get out of jams today, and Caleb Corbett did so in his first inning of work back in the 5th.
1-0 to Roden. Misses low. Payton couldn't corral it. It's now 2-0.
Gave up just 1 run after a 2nd and 3rd nobody out jam on the sacrifice fly by Windish, but he's got to be careful here not to put the leadoff man aboard again. Roden, a guy he's not going to strike out. He's kind of trying to get something off the bat.
He rips the 2-0 down the right field line, and it bounces off the base of the wall. Brutcher chasing after it, and Roden is in second with a stand-up double. Back-to-back 2-baggers for the Creighton Blue Jay.
So after a 1-for-8 start this summer, Roden is finally finding his stroke. Unfortunately against the Commodores here tonight, but back-to-back ringing doubles. This one to right field on a ball that I think Brutcher might have thought was foul at first because he wasn't giving a terribly hard chase right off the bat. Then had to hustle over towards the grandstand to pick that ball up. No difference made regardless because Roden didn't try for 3rd. But another jam for Corbett to try to wriggle himself out of.
Here's Ryan Campos, who's 0 for 1 tonight with a walk. First pitch from Corbett is skipped foul behind Campos. It's 0-1 to the Arizona State Sun Devil.
And the tough thing is for the Doors at this point, the problem for them is just hitting. They've gotten better pitching and better defense than they did the first couple games of the season by a mile. Starting pitching this week has been great. From Josh Hartle, 5 innings at Chatham. Grayson hit 4 2/3 against Katuitt. Carson Montgomery last night.
0-1. Did that get a foot of Campos? No, it didn't. And taking advantage of it is Roden, who goes over to third base. How about Alan Roden with the smart base running there, going even before time was called, even though there wasn't time called at all.
A couple small breaks in this game haven't gone the Doors' way, but Caleb Corbett for the second straight inning has been buying his own trouble. Roden over there at third base now. Wild pitch. And another jam now with the infield all the way in.
Everyone at the tip of the grass. Here comes the 1-1. Misses inside, now 2-1.
Starting effort today from Ben Hess. 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. All 4 starters this week have gone at least 4 innings. Hartle went 5 against Chatham. So the pitching has really come around. No errors so far tonight.
2-1. Fastball misses low, now 3-1. Moving back is Roden after Peyton pump faked over there to third base. So a 3-1 count on Campos, who did not play yesterday against Hyannis in what was an 8-4 loss to Wareham. Last night for Falmouth, grabbed itself a 4-3 victory at Brewster. Here comes the 3-1. Fastball, that's a chopper over to second base. Halter can't get it. Coming home to score is Roden, and it's a 3-0 Gatemen lead.
Bad luck there, just because of defensive positioning. Halter at second base in normal depth would have easily fielded that ball. Instead, he had to lay out and stretch every part of his body just to try for that ball because it was a high bounce over a drawn-in infield. Couldn't get to it. And the third run of the day for the Gatemen looking awfully large here with the way the Doors are swinging the bats.
It's now 1 run scored in the 5th, another here in the 6th. The other came in the 3rd. First pitch to Blake Wright is caught by Halter. Throw over to first, not in time. Colby Halter with a great reaction over there at second base, almost getting the 4-3 double play. But there's only 1 gone here in the top of the 6th.
And I think if there was such a thing, Jeff Trundy might have wanted to challenge that play. I think that was awfully close over at first base. We don't have the benefit of that or replay. But no argument from Walsh.
Get to talk things over here on the mound. Callum Clark awaiting to step up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
And you hate to harp on it for the Doors, but at the end of the day, this is what a lack of hitting costs you. You've got to focus that much more on every hitter. Every run the opponent scores means that much more. You get tight on defense, you think too much, and you make mistakes. Sometimes you force the hand to make moves that ordinarily you wouldn't make.
So Keith Corbett's night is done. Philip Abner comes in. We'll have more on him after this. Gatemen up 3-0 here in the top of the 6th. It's a Commodore debut here in the top of the 6th with one gone, and the Gatemen leading the Commodores 3-0. Philip Abner steps in for the first time this season with Falmouth, coming out of Florida where he appeared in 26 games, only starting in one of them. A 1-1 record at an 8.06 ERA in 22 1/3 innings pitched. The rising sophomore gave up 20 earned runs with 21 walks and 24 strikeouts. The reason why he chose Florida was the best overall school for him, great academics with a great baseball program. Loved Gainesville when he visited and wanted to play for, quote, the best baseball team in the country. What do we have right now here in the top of the 6th? There's a man on first for the Gatemen. Kellum Clark is about to come up to the plate. Keith Corbett, whose afternoon is done in just an inning and a third, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. That could be 3 with Campos on first base. No walks and 1 strikeout to the Louisville Cardinal. Now it's the Florida Gators' turn. Trying to keep this a 3-0 Gateman lead. Trying to help out the Falmouth offense that has been silent so far, Carter. I mean, the 6 hits, that's great, but still a goose egg on the scoreboard. You got to change that with the Doors coming up in the bottom half.
That's right. The Doors have left 7 men on base through 5. And entering the evening, we're last in average and last in on-base percentage as a team in the league.
First pitch to Kellum Clark. Misses low and outside, ball 1.
And you repeat those figures only because things have been better for the Doors, but they're still not quite right. They're still last in a couple offensive categories, and it's hurt them in some games. Didn't come back to bite them yesterday.
Clark goes around on that one. It's now 1-1.
But on the bump, Abner, a guy who's been on this roster for quite a long time. He's really waited his turn to come out of the pen. Left-hander out of Florida, 26 games. All but one of them in relief for the Gators this spring.
Peeks over at Campos at first and deals the 1-1. Goes with the breaking ball, misses low and away. It's now 2-1. Clark, the designated hitter, is 0 for 2 tonight. Comes out of Mississippi State. 2021 national champions in college baseball. The 2-1 from Abner. Fastball misses low, now 3-1.
For Abner, it's a fastball in the low 90s, sometimes has some cut on it, and a curveball in the high 70s, his primary breaking weapon.
Grounder over to the left side, and it gets through. Mooney couldn't corral, diving to his right. It's another single for the Gatemen. That's their 3rd hit here in the top of the 6th as Kellum Clark grabs a first single here tonight at the Guv.
Well, the Gatemen have been a frustrating offense to watch this year as well, but for a different reason. That's that they've been very streaky. First 3 games of the season, they were worse than the Doors. They hit 128 over their next 3 that included the matchup with the Doors. They hit 313. Next 4 after that, 155. 12 hits yesterday against Hyannis in defeat. So it looks like they're hot again and finally erupting here at the Guv.
Wareham now up to 8 hits tonight. As Ty Evans' first pitch in his 3rd at-bat is fouled to the right side. Gator on Gator. That's what it's going to be like on the next at-bat, too, with Michael Robertson on deck. You got to think sometimes when these two come up, do you get that small grin? Maybe when they come up to the plate or come up to the mound. At least that's what it was like when we played rec ball. But here's a grounder to the right side. Brutcher picks it up. All runners hold, moving station to station. That's the 4th hit here for the Gatemen in the top of the 6th, and it's Evans' 3rd single tonight.
Well, things not going Abner's way so far in his Commodore debut this summer. 2 straight hits off of his arm, and now the base is loaded for Michael Robertson, who doubled his last time up. And this is a big moment for Wareham. If they can come up with something in this inning and keep it going, they can all but put this one out of reach unless the Doors really reach down and spark an offense that's been dormant ever since the first inning yesterday.
So the base is loaded with 1 out for Michael Robertson. Looks at strike one to start off his third at-bat. Abner is responsible for 2 of the runners on base. Here's the 0-1. Fastball down the pipe, strike 2.
Well, Abner attacking the zone using that fastball that has had a little bit of spotty command so far, the first 2 batters he's faced, but 0-2 count really difficult for any hitter to come back from, and with 1 away and the bases loaded, now is the time to bury Robertson.
Abner deals. Breaking ball, fouled back. We'll do the 0-2 again. Corbett's responsible for Campos over at third base. Abner is responsible for Clark and Evans over at second and first, respectively.
He tried that sweeping curveball with 2 strikes, and Robertson got a piece. Let's see if he tries it again.
The 0-2. Cut on a miss for strike 3. Abner is 1 out away from getting out of the jam, but he's going to have to get Jack Hausinger out, who's a tough out here in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
And that's the trouble with giving up base hits to the number 7 and 8 hitters in this lineup, is that the 1-2 guys for Wareham are not the ones you want up with runs to drive in, because Hausinger and Windish have been dynamic this summer.
First pitch to the rising senior out of Xavier is lined to right field. Brecher making the grab to close out the top of the 6th. Wareham grabs another. Falmouth looking to show some life here offensively when we come back in the bottom of the 6th.
What are you most looking forward to this season?
I'm just looking forward to, I mean, it's obvious, but just the games, you know, seeing some great baseball, some great talent, and working with all these interns and really just learning, you know?
I'm just excited to get to know everyone, do some fun social media stuff, make a lot of TikToks, and watch some baseball.
I'm looking forward to spending time with all of the other great interns, looking forward to watching good baseball, spending time around the field, and being in Falmouth again.
It was just such a great experience last year. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, it's the best players in the country, and the opportunity to cover them is awesome.
Commodores looking for some answers offensively, trailing the Gatemen by a score of 3-0 as we head into the bottom of the 6th. Carter, a big reason why Falmouth has been unable to grab runs here in the middle innings is because of Wareham righty Eric Swan. He's been up for 6 outs, all of them done by him.
The last 8 outs the Doors have made in this game have all come via strikeout, and Swan has 6 of them since he came into this game. He's pitched 2 innings. Every single Commodore hitter he's sat down has been way of the K. You got Pinckney, Brutcher, and McKenzie in the 4th, and then Halter, Taylor, and Payton in order in the 5th after Alex Mooney got to third base with nobody out. And since then, the Gatemen have only increased their lead with an additional run in the top of this frame. Those 3 runs look awfully large right now. Doors have 6 hits, but they've really struggled with guys in scoring position and on base. It's only going to get harder now with a Wareham multi-run lead. You figure they're going to try to use their power arms tonight and get back in the win column. They've struggled since Falmouth beat them last, just 1-4 since that game. And of course, this is a battle to decide who's going to be in 4th or possibly 3rd place in the Western Division.
Exactly, partner. Falmouth and Wareham both sitting at 4-6-1 on the season. Whoever wins this will have sole possession of 4th place as Walsh looks at ball 1 low. If Hyannis loses today, whoever wins this game will be tied with the Harbor Hawks for 3rd in the Western Division. The 2-0. 1-0, excuse me. It's fouled off of Walsh, who comes up hobbling. So it's 1-1 on the first baseman out of Oregon. Hopefully Walsh is all right after that one, adjusting his shin guard a little bit. Donning all the Oregon gear. The cleats, the shin guard, the elbow guard. The Franklin batting gloves, though, are Commodore maroon and gray.
Sharing a laugh with Campos behind the plate, who's probably telling him, hey, I'm a catcher. I know how that feels, bud.
The 1-1. Going with the slider. That was nasty. 1-2 on Jacob.
And most of the time this summer when we've seen a pitcher really just dice through a lineup effortlessly, they've had two pitches working that they can throw for strikes. We've seen Levi Wells on Falmouth go that way when he has his breaking ball working.
Walsh swings and misses at strike 3. 7 outs from Swan, 7 strikeouts.
And just to finish that thought, Swan is going the exact same way right now. Fastball and the slider are working well for him today. He's got a changeup, but you wouldn't know it because he's relying heavily on those two offerings, and he's got a good release point where the hitters can't tell what's coming out of the hands, and you can tell by the swings.
Here's Andrew Pinckney. He was the first strikeout victim of Swan as he looks at strike 1. Going with the off speed at 78 miles an hour is the Middle Tennessee State righty.
I've got to do something here to get Swan out of this rhythm because he's just going metronome mode right now.
0-1. Going with the off speed again. It's now 0-2. That one finding the inner half.
Two borderline unhittable pitches, especially if you're trying to dial in on the heat and you don't get it. There's nothing you can do.
Pinckney choked up on the bat a little bit more, fouls the 0-2 back. Corey Collins on deck, giving Andrew some words of encouragement. It's Falmouth that trails Wareham 3-0 here at the Guv on what is a picture-perfect night here in Falmouth. The 0-2. Fastball misses high, 1-2 now. Pinckney in center field tonight where he did most of his work at Alabama. He improved as the season went along. He led the Tide in doubles, runs, hit by pitches, and slugging. The 1-2. Breaking ball misses low and away, count even at 2.
Well, that's been the spot for Swan. He's gotten a couple calls on that outside corner to right-handed hitters, but a little bit too far there for Pinckney. He's got a challenge trying to figure out what to look for here. First, he's got to get the bugs out of his face.
Yeah. Got a couple of bugs coming in here as well in the press box. Got the windows open. How could you not on a beautiful night like this? Not a single cloud in the sky. The sun's starting to set here on Cape Cod. Where else would you rather be? Here's the 2-2. Pinckney go around. No, he didn't. Andrew has worked himself into a full count.
Well, this is Swan's third appearance of the summer, and combined in the first 2, he pitched 5 innings and struck out only 3. 2 1/3 so far tonight. He has 7. Pinckney trying to be the third guy to put the ball in play off of this right-hander.
Payoff pitch is a grounder up the middle. Swan picks it up, throws it over to first for the second out. May have been a little surprised by that one. 1, because it was a hard chopper, but 2, he didn't strike out the batter this time.
Well, the Doors desperately looking for something to get Swan out of his rhythm here, and maybe a regular ground ball out is something they can try to work with. Corey Collins has been swinging the bat well today, has a third of the Doors' hits, doubled in the second, singled in the fourth.
Not a bad line for Corey so far. He looks at strike 1 to start off his third at-bat.
And perhaps more importantly, he singled off of Swan back in the 4th inning. His first frame of work.
It's one of 2 hits Swan has given up. The Blue Raider out of Middle Tennessee is on for his 3rd inning of work. The 0-1 misses high, and the count is even at 1. Collins started in 54 games out of 57 this season with Georgia, where he hit 11 home runs and 37 RBIs. Tips the 1-1 in and out of the glove of the catcher Campos. It's now 1-2 on the rising sophomore.
just a slow and easy delivery, and then all of a sudden the fastball is just bearing in on you, or the slider is snapping off down in the zone. It's just hard to deal with that combo so far from Swan.
The 1-2. Fastball cut on and miss for strike 3. How about 8 strikeouts from Eric Swan to close out the 6th? The Gatemen are going to work offensively and defensively. Top of the 7th coming up after this.
Are you most looking forward to this season?
Most looking forward to working with all the interns. It's a really good group, and just a couple of days in, we've already started to bond over different things. The Celtics, hanging out with one another, and even the Red Sox as well. There's just so many different things that make this intern group seem like a really good one.
Not just being around players that are our age, but being around a bunch of other people that are looking to get something great out of the Commodores. But the favorite part about being like the intern specifically is the ability to like have some creative freedom, because we're not under salary or anything like that. We're here to have fun, but also get work done. There's the perfect level of, or balance of work and fun, but we don't get carried away with it. And I think that's the perfect part about being an intern. And the best part about being an intern, especially at the Commodores, is you get to watch baseball for us broadcasters 6 days a week.
Looking forward to the most with the Commodores is just the chance to work with some really talented people, whether that be on the broadcast team or any other interns. I'm a part of the broadcast team, so I get to work with Trey and Logan, and I think that both of them are just super talented. I'm really happy I get to work with both of them because I feel like I'll learn as much from them as they will from me, and I'm just really excited to be able to improve my craft with two guys who are focused on the exact same thing.
Well, welcome back to Guv Fuller Field here in the top of the 7th inning, where the sun has set, but the Wareham Gatemen not done. They come to bat again, leading 3-0. Falmouth Commodores really struggling in front of their home crowd. No runs on 6 hits so far. And left-hander Philip Abner back on the mound for inning number 2. Facing Hogan Windish, left fielder, right-handed batter in the number 2 spot. First offering clips the outside corner, and it's 0-1 on Windish, who is 0 for 2 today with an RBI. His last time up, sacrifice fly in the 5th. Abner's 0-1 delivery. Line drive to center field, base hit. It bounces in front of Pinckney, who plays it on a couple hops. And Windish on with his first hit of the day. And you figured, Trey, that they were only going to hold this guy down for so long.
Yeah. We know him pretty well, don't we? You do, I would say, more than me, knowing how much you've been calling Windish's games in the summer. But this is just what he does. Windish doesn't go down without a fight. Shown it in the summer, shown it in the spring with UNCG. He's the SoCon Player of the Year for a reason.
First pitch to Max Anderson is up high. The Wareham third baseman, 0 for 3 today, and all 3 outs he's made have ended innings in the first, the third, and the 5th. Windish not much of a base stealer over there at first base. The Gatemen have stolen a couple tonight. Popped up. Shallow right field. Halter going out. Butcher coming in, and it's Butcher to make the catch for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. So Max Anderson saddled with an 0 for 4 line. And Alan Roden at the plate with a man at first and 1 down. Commodores have had trouble solving this puzzle today. Roden 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and a run scored. Fastball chopped, a high hop to Halter at second, to Mooney for 1, on to first, not in time. Roden with good speed down the line, beating out a would-be double play. Windish sent back to the dugout on a 4-6 fielder's choice. And Ryan Campos, the batter.
Man, was that close over there at third base. Or first base, excuse me. But, I mean, you can't get it really any closer than that. I jumped out of my seat a little bit because I thought maybe he had gotten them there.
So Roden, who stole 9 bases at Creighton this spring, among a whole lot else, now stands over at first base with 2 down. Campos swings at the first offering. It's another ground ball to Halter. He takes the short way to second with Mooney covering, and there's out number 3. Quick put out and a quick inning for left-hander Philip Abner. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Commodores trailing 3-0.
House of Falmouth Commodore, be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding. Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll doors.
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where we are venturing into the late innings and still waiting for the Falmouth Commodore offense to get things going, trailing 3-0 against the Wareham Gatemen. But perhaps a blessing to finally get right-hander Eric Swan out of the game, who went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and struck out 8. He now turns it over to right-hander Jack Sullivan out of UConn, where he made 21 relief appearances to a .79 ERA in 22 2/3 innings. Gave up just 15 hits and 2 earned runs, 7 walks, 26 strikeouts, and held opposing batters to a .185 average. So another tall order for the Doors to get something going offensively here. No runs on 6 hits so far in this game, but we're just blitzed out of the bullpen by Eric Swan for 3 innings, Trey.
I think blitz is the best word to describe it. 8 strikeouts? Are you kidding me? In the 9 outs that he had? I mean, when I was on the play-by-play and Swan had that grounder, I mean, I said it. Yeah, you're surprised and you have a chopper over the middle like that you have to feel, but also you're like, oh, wait, the ball's hit to me and it's about to be an out? Wait, this is a little odd, but Swan dominated the Commodores. But now you have a new guy in, puts a smile on some faces in the dugout, but this is where you got to go to work. You only have 9 outs.
Swan was so dominant, he just about lulled his fielders to sleep. Andrew Pinckney, the only Commodore who was able to put a ball in play for an out, and it was a comebacker, a 1-3 putout. Drew Brutcher faces Sullivan, swings through the first offering, and it's 0-1. This is Sullivan's summer debut for Wareham after he came over from UConn not too long ago, after just a spectacular freshman spring. 0-1, tails up and away. Count even on Brutcher, and it's 1-1. So Drew 1 for 2 today, singled in the second, struck out looking his last time up. Second victim for Swan. 1-1, just a little bit off, and it's 2-1. So the Doors hoping that the left-handed hitting Brutcher and the left-handed hitting McKenzie, when he comes up as a switch hitter, can jumpstart things here in the bottom of the 7th. 3-1. Brutcher ahead of the count against Sullivan, who features a fastball, sometimes puts some sink on it, downward movement, a slider, and a changeup. Swing and a miss. Brutcher went upstairs to chase ball 4, and it's full at 3-2. Pitching has dominated this day, a stark difference to what we saw a week ago in a 12-9 Commodore win out at Spillane Field. 3-2 pitch outside, and ball 4 to Brutcher. leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and those usually spell trouble. So the Doors hoping that a rally starts all that innocently here. Anthony McKenzie now to the plate, a strikeout victim both times he's been up. First pitch to McKenzie. Well high. Brutcher staying put at first base. It's 1-0. Brutcher's walk, the first the Doors have drawn since Braden Taylor's back in the 1st inning. 1-0. Same spot, same result. It's 2-0. Sullivan's got to find the zone here. Walked Brutcher in behind in the count. 2-0 to McKenzie. 2-0 delivery. Well outside, and the count goes to 3-0 on the Falmouth left fielder with Brutcher at first base and nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You also got the top of the order on deck. Alex Mooney could be the tying run if this goes in McKenzie's favor and he gets on base.
Mooney and Halter, the 1-2 hitters, each with a base hit today. 3-0, got the outside corner, and it's 3-1. 87 miles an hour on the gun with the fastball from Sullivan, native of Carmel, New York. Microscopic ERA over at UConn, but struggling here in his debut. Swing and a miss by McKenzie. Went after the fastball on the outer half, and it's 3-2, and Sullivan has been working on that outer half the entire at-bat. He has yet to give McKenzie a pitch in on the hands. And now at 3-2, let's see if he challenges him inside. He doesn't. McKenzie whiffs at it, and there's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Another strikeout for the Commodores, and the top of the order now comes back around with Alex Mooney. 13th K of the game offensively for the Doors. Grayson Moore, the starter, had 4. Eric Swan had 8. And now Jack Sullivan has his first. Mooney today 1 for 3. With Brutcher over at first base and 1 out. There goes Brutcher as Mooney sends a high drive to left field. Windish back to the wall. Out of here! A 2-run blast off the bat of Alex Mooney. And it's a 1-run game here at Guv Fuller Field. 3-2, Wareham still leads as Mooney crosses the plate after a Jurassic blast sent over the left field wall.
He knew it too. Right when it went off the bat, he looked at it for a couple of seconds, flipped it, and now he's going down the tunnel.
Falmouth dugout celebrating. Some bona fide hard contact and then some off the bat of their shortstop. Alex Mooney put quite a charge into that ball. First run to the day for the Doors. And that'll change the dynamic. Now the tying run at the plate in the form of Colby Halter. Sullivan's first pitch to him is well away, and it's 1-0. First home run of the summer for Alex Mooney. And we've watched every at-bat he's taken. You figured the power was going to start coming around pretty soon. And a meeting of the minds out on the bump. Talking things over with right-hander Jack Sullivan, who has seen his summer debut go awry. And manager Harvey Shapiro takes the ball from his right-hander, signaling in a new pitcher from the Wareham bullpen. So we'll let you know who the new hurler is for the Gatemen after we take a break here at Guv Fuller Field. But don't go away. The Doors have cut this thing to a 1-run game. Well, after what was a silent night for the Commodores offense, at least through 6 innings, we've now got a barn burner at Guv Fuller Field. It's 3-2. The Wareham Gatemen lead things, but their lead trimmed to just 1 run after the 2-run home run by Alex Mooney, with 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning off of right-hander Sullivan for Wareham. And how about this, Trey? The first home run hit by a Commodore batter here at Guv Fuller Field this season.
Feels good to say it, doesn't it? And Mooney knew it, too. The sound was there. He looked at it. He saw it. He was like, oh, yeah, this thing's gone. Flips the bat. Makes an easy trot around the bases. And luckily enough, he has the weather this time to help him out. The last time we saw a shot like this from Mooney to left center field, that area, was in the doubleheader against Orleans in Game 1 where he just missed it. The weather wasn't really helping him out. It was high 50s, a little windy. The weather really nice today. Hot temperatures. You said at the top of the broadcast, the ball's going to be flying a little bit more, and it all works out in Mooney's favor, but there's still work to do for Falmouth here. The 2 spots great in the bottom of the 7th, and the runs are there. That's awesome. We'll take it any day of the week. But if you're Colby Halter and the rest of this Commodore order, which is the heart of the order coming up, you got to get it going against Bristow, the righty from Hale State.
Well, Fristow coming in to relieve Jack Sullivan, who was making his summer debut. Fristow now making his first appearance for the Gatemen. Pitched 24 games at Mississippi State this spring to a 7.96 ERA. 33 earned runs, 19 walks, 48 strikeouts. He's got a 4-seam. He's got a cut fastball. And college teammates with Falmouth reliever Mikey Tepper. Colby Halter at the plate with the bases empty and 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Fristow deals inside, and that got Halter right on the knee. 1 pitch, 1 hit batter, and now the Doors have the tying run aboard in the form of Colby Halter.
A little odd. That was on a 1-0 count, too, because Shapiro came in mid-count to take out Sullivan. But either way, Falmouth will take it, and now you have your guy in the 3 spot who's the go-ahead run here.
Braden Taylor, lefty bat against the righty Fristow, who hit 4 at Mississippi State this spring in 37 1/3. Hits Halter here on his first pitch and comes well inside on that one. Halter making his way to second base as Campos goes over to pick it up all the way by the Falmouth dugout. And Braden Taylor just had to lean out of the way of what would have been the second straight hit batter of the inning. Wild pitch instead for Fristow. And the tying run in scoring position with 1 away. Colby Halter stands there. And Braden Taylor trying to add to his RBI total. He has 5 this summer. Could make it number 6 with a game-tying base knock here in the bottom of the 7th. Again inside for Fristow, this time with a breaking ball, and it's 2-0.
Look at Halter over at second base. He gets the most humongous leads over there. He's got at least 10 to 12 feet over there.
2-0. This time a strike, and it's 2-1. Well, Halter gets big leads, and when he's in scoring position especially, you can see it from the camera angle we have. He kind of dances around with some happy feet back there, trying to distract the pitcher or at least get him to pay a little bit of attention. 2-1 outside. Good snag by Campos, and it's 3-1.
And you got to be careful with those happy feet, too. You know, if you get caught by a pitcher like that, you're going to get stung. Because you never know when that shortstop's going to come right behind you and get you on a pickoff move.
Taylor ahead in the count at 3-1. Fristow struggling with his command after coming in the middle of this inning for Jack Sullivan, fellow right-hander. 3-1. Breaking ball high, and Taylor draws a walk. Second straight batter to reach against Fristow, and Jack Payton, the batter, with runners at first and second and 1 out. Well, we say it over and over, Trey. These Doors never quite make it easy, do they?
Nope.
At least not so far.
They always make it so interesting, right?
They've had plenty of close games this year. They've had some exciting 9th innings. Now trying to mount a comeback here in the 7th against the Gatemen. First pitch to Peyton. Low, ball 1. Breaking ball going down and away from the right-handed hitting Falmouth catcher, who's 1 for 3 today, but strikeouts his last 2 times up. Halter at second, Taylor at first. Fristow spikes the 1-0, down in the dirt, 2-0. He is yanking that fastball to the glove side. Did it against both Halter and Taylor. Hit Halter and then threw a wild pitch against Taylor. So it's not going to hit Peyton, but he's got an eye to watch out for those pitches that go well outside. Fristow's got to find the zone here, down in the count 2-0. And we've seen that Peyton can drive the ball. Hit that triple yesterday. 2-0, both runners go. Breaking ball low and away. Campos picks it up, but the throw to second, too late. Double steal. Halter to third. Taylor to second.
Is it just me, or is it a little odd that they throw to the other runner instead of the lead runner on that double steal? Have you seen something like that before?
I don't think that's usually how it goes. Usually the catcher comes up and whips it to third to try to get the lead runner. Infield little in. 3-0 outside. And Peyton walks to load the bases with 1 away for Jacob Walsh.
Boy, would this be something. A guy who's 0 for 3 tonight. Couple of strikeouts to his name. You got a good crowd here at the Guv. Why not please him?
Walsh hit a 2-run opposite field home run yesterday at Brewster. And Trey, this is a guy we had a conversation pregame. You made a comment, a little bit innocuous, about how you thought Walsh might be on the verge of breaking out. What made you say that?
Seeing what he was able to do yesterday with that solo home run, sometimes all it takes is one. He's a guy who shows a lot of control at the plate, someone that has a lot of poise. Young kid, 6'4", 220. Sometimes you just feel it, and I'm feeling it with Walsh. You get that feeling sometimes too. You think like, okay, I think something's about to happen here, and it does.
So in summary, and it's been said many, many times by baseball scouts who are men of few words, he's due.
He's due. He is due. I think he is due. I mean, you're 0 for 3 tonight. You have a couple of strikeouts, but you have an opportunity right here where you can, forget about all of that. Focus on what's ahead. Take advantage of the opportunity. Walsh has a great chance to do that right here.
Stomach-turning inning for manager Harvey Shapiro and the Wareham Gatemen. They've been on this mound a couple different times. And Shapiro takes the ball again. So the day done for Fristow. He saw 3 batters and did not get any of them out. Hit batter, walk. A wild pitch and a double steal in there as well. The base is now loaded. We're going to keep it here at Guv Fuller Field as a new arm comes into the game for the Wareham Gatemen. But this undoubtedly the biggest spot of this game, Trey. What the Doors have to avoid most of all is a double play.
Yeah, that would be something. We talk about how the Commodores make it interesting. That wouldn't make it fun if a double play was turned. If I'm Walsh here, I'm doing whatever I can to pull it down the line. Put something over in the ear of the bullpen, maybe on that right side, that brings in at least 2 runs. Get this crowd fired up even more. But the tough thing with this is, you got 2 guys, Walsh at the plate, Pinckney on deck, who are both 0 for 3. So we talked about Walsh being due, Pinckney is due as well. And it comes down to these 2 guys. But first, you're hoping for not worst-case scenario, Walsh getting it rounded up into a double play.
So Bobby Alcock, the right-hander from Gardner-Webb, now comes in, the 3rd Gateman pitcher used in this inning, and another right-hander, Jack Sullivan and Jackson Fristow, unable to put out a fire that started smoldering when Drew Brutcher led this inning off with a walk. Later scored on the Mooney home run. Then Fristow came in, hit Colby Halter, walked Braden Taylor, and walked Jack Peyton to load the bases. Also sprinkled in a wild pitch and a double steal by Halter and Taylor as well. But in summary, the base is loaded, and Alcock, the latest to try to get out of this jam, Harvey Shapiro over in the Wareham dugout has not wasted time, using arms in this inning to try to protect his lead that was once 3-0. Wareham with runs in the 3rd, 5th, and 6th, each time 1 at a time. Gatemen with 3 runs on 10 hits. The Doors with 2 runs on 7 hits, but finally getting something going in this inning after a 14-inning scoreless streak that began in the 2nd inning yesterday and went all through the 6th today. So Alcock coming into this game with a mid-90s fastball. It is topped out at 97 over with the Gardner-Webb Bulldogs. Just finished up his sophomore spring. Didn't have a lot of work out at GW. 3 appearances, all starts, 2.08 ERA in just 13 innings. 13 hits, 3 earned, 22 strikeouts, did walk 12. And something to keep your eye on with the bases loaded here, he did throw 6 wild pitches in 13 innings. If he spikes one here, this game is going to be tied with Colby Halter over there at third base. Braden Taylor at second, Jack Payton at first, Trey.
Well, maybe. You got to take into account the brick backstop that we have here at the Gov. That could happen. You never know. You never know. Maybe the Commodores get a lucky bounce here, but the backstop here at the Gov, not the most luckiest of terms, with no padding back there.
Jacob Walsh at the plate. First offering to him is up high for ball 1. Well, the sun has set here at the Gov. No shadows in play on the field. The Commodores trying to pull out of the coffin once down 3-0 and looking stagnant at the plate. They're putting something together here in the 7th. 1 away. Fastball on the outer half. Caught the zone, and it's 1-1. Walsh entering the evening, a 111 hitter. Now 3 for 30 on the summer. His average down to 100, but he does have a pair of home runs and 5 walks. 1-1. Swinging a line drive, base hit left field. Halter comes in, the ball bobbled by Windish. Taylor coming around third, he scores. Payton back to second, and the Commodores have the lead. It's 4-3 here in the bottom of the 7th inning on the single by Walsh and an error in left on Hogan Windish.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? He's due. He's due. Big time by Jacob over there at first base.
Payton to second, Walsh to first. It's 4-3. A 4 spot for the Doors here in the bottom of the 7th, and they're not done. Andrew Pinckney now at the plate. Walsh's first hit today, first RBI. Pinckney righty bat against the righty Alcock. Check swing up high, the appeal to first. He did go, says Joseph Carrico, and it's 0-1. Pinckney today 0 for 3. Four runs for the Doors in this frame on 2 very big hits. An error out in left. Payton nearly got himself caught off of second base as Alcock looked him back. Payton took a wide turn on that Walsh hit as well. And the throw in the infield initially got Campos' attention, who fielded it from behind the plate. No throw to second, though. 0-1 to Pinckney. Fouled to the right side, 0-2. Pinckney looking for his first time on base today, but the hitter on deck hasn't had that problem. Corey Collins, 2 for 3 today, with a double and a single. And it would be a lefty bat against the righty Alcock. 0-2 the count on Pinckney, with runners at first and second and 1 out. Alcock settles. He delivers. It's spoiled foul right side. 0-2. So the Doors, who practically flatlined with Eric Swan in this game for 3 innings, struck out 8 times against that right-hander. Now exploding in the bottom of the 7th inning. 4 runs on 2 hits and an error, and only 1 away. 3 Gatemen pitchers have been used. 0-2. Flying to right. Evans coming in on the ball. He makes the catch for out number 2, stumbling a bit. Both runners go back, and there's the second out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting the designated hitter from Georgia, number 25, Corey Collins.
So charge the last 2 runs to Jackson Fristow. Halter and Taylor, he put both of them on base, hit by pitch and a walk. Peyton would be charged to his line as well if he scores. Walsh is Alcock's responsibility. And Corey Collins at the plate. A guy with a lot of pop. 11 home runs at Georgia this spring. 37 driven in 54 starts. 2 for 3 today. First pitch to him in the dirt, 1-0. So the Doors, who used a 4 spot yesterday to propel themselves to victory, barely did hang on against the Brewster Whitecaps, now have another today. 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. And the Cardiac Commodores are at it again.
Whoa. New nickname, question mark?
For the time being, at least. They've surely earned it. Chopper over to Alcock, who fields, takes it to the bag himself, and the inning is over. But not before the Doors take the lead back. 4 runs on 2 hits and an error. They leave 2. We head to the top of the 8th inning with this game flipped on its head. Wright, Clark, and Evans, 6, 7, and 8 for Wareham coming up, and we'll be right back.
My favorites. Proud to be an American. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
And what's your favorite breakfast food?
Oh, my favorite on the West Coast. I don't know if it's a thing back east, but Spam.
Wheels or doors?
I think wheels, honestly, because you use wheels like more than I feel like you would use doors, because if you're moving things around, more than likely it's on a wheel.
Well, you're going to want to stick around for the ending of this one if you're just tuning in. It's 4-3. Falmouth leads the Wareham Gatemen here in the top of the 8th inning. The Doors just got 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th after their offense slumbered for most of the evening. Walks and hit batters. 1 big home run by Alex Mooney. A go-ahead single by Jacob Walsh with an error mixed in left. Spelled disaster for the Gatemen in that frame. And now Philip Abner, the left-hander, on for his 3rd inning of work. Trying to keep the Gatemen off the board for at least 1 more frame. Wright, Clark, and Evans, barring any pinch hitters. 6, 7, and 8 in the Wareham order coming to the plate in this inning. And all of a sudden behind in this game. Wareham with runs, 1 apiece in the 3rd, 5th, and 6th. Look to be well in control in this game. But now have to try to come back off of Abner. First offering to Wright, down and in, 1-0. Abner came in with 1 out in the top of the 6th, finished that inning off, then pitched a clean 7th, back on for the 8th. Fastball low, and it's 2-0. And we see left-hander Drew Sommers warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. He pitched last in the 9th inning of the Catuit game. 2-0 delivery. Down low, Abner having to be careful here not to walk the leadoff hitter. But Wright, one more timely take away from drawing a free pass. 0 for 3 today is the Wareham shortstop so far. 3-0. Little high by just a hair. And that leadoff man is aboard. Wright heads to first after the walk, and Kellum Clark steps in with a man at first and nobody down. So the Doors got a lot of momentum in that bottom of the 7th as a rabbit begins to hop around towards the third baseline. Clark staring it down, and
oh, goodness.
Got to get Taylor to shoo that thing away. He sprints after it.
That thing has no idea where to go. There's so many people around. It's like, what do I do?
We see plenty of those out here at Guv Fuller Field, especially late at night when we're returning gear from road games. That one, the first one that's been brave enough to come out to the field.
Yeah, we're walking back to the Guv, and I see him. I'm just like, Bunny.
Taylor making sure that that one's lesson is learned. Abner dealing with Clark, though. Fouls a rocket to the left side. And it's 0-1 on the Wareham DH. 1 for 3 today. Singled his last time up off of Abner. So this Abner's second time through the order now. Facing a lefty bat in Clark, and you figure if he reaches, Abner may be done with a righty Evans on deck. 0-1. Fastball low, and it's 1-1. Right over at first base with nobody out. 1-1 in there for a strike. 1-2.
Great paint job there. If Abner can get one of those again, if he can find that full with Wareham hitters on both sides of the plate, why not keep dealing with it? See if Peyton gives him a similar spot.
Peyton sets up low and away. 1-2. This one comes inside, and it's 2-2. Right over there at first base has yet to try a steal this summer, but that's the case for a lot of these Wareham hitters. The Gatemen last in the entire league in stolen bases. They only have 2 coming at it tonight. Of course, they have stolen a couple against the Doors tonight to double their total. 2-2. Wright stays put. Breaking ball didn't catch the inside corner. Little head shake from Abner, and the count goes full on Clark.
Now the question is, do you go with your stuff or do you go with the fastball and play it safe? We saw earlier with a couple of full counts with Ben Hess where he went with his stuff. It's a confidence booster. Let's find out what Abner does here.
3-2. Grounded sharply to second base. Taylor made double play. Halter to Mooney, on to first for 2. 4 to 6 to 3 it goes. And how's that for some relief? Here in the top of the 8th inning, the base is now clear. And Ty Evans at bat with the bases empty.
How about it? You'll take that any day of the week. This is a Commodore team that loves double plays. I mean, they just make it look so easy. Mooney and Halter over there. That's going to be your middle infield more likely than not throughout the season. Tailor-made. Right on cue, Carter.
First pitch to Evans. Low again. That's where Abner's been missing with the fastball in this inning. And he's got to be careful with Evans, who came into today 0 for 11, but he's 3 for 3 on the afternoon. All singles, each of his times up. 2 runs scored as well. So the Doors, who used a big inning their last time up, as another rabbit is bouncing around in the outfield, this time
as Luke Boyers is playing with them out there.
Got to get him underneath that fence. Nobody really wants to touch it. Wareham dugout trying to give it a little drill. Boyers now gives up. So convenient time to mention that Boyers has come in to play left for Anthony McKenzie. No at-bats today, but one rabbit successfully shooed away. 1-0, fouled back, and it's 1-1.
Would you rather have one successful rabbit shoo away, or would you rather go 3 for 3 with 3 home runs?
Tough ones, Trey. Really tough. You're really bringing the heat tonight. I think I'd take the latter personally.
Really?
Shockingly enough. Breaking ball bends over for a strike, and it's 1-2.
But the rabbit, man.
Well, maybe they'll give Boyers a feature on Animal Planet. May not make SC top 10, but if they're looking for clips, they've got plenty tonight.
Hey, I'd rather take the Puppy Bowl over the SC top 10 any day of the week.
1-2. Way outside. 2-2 from Abner. So Evans at the plate. He's had a good day offensively. Has yet to flash some pop. Did hit 5 home runs in 26 starts at Florida this spring. Hard guy to walk, though. Only 8 in 99 at-bats with the Gators. Abner's 2-2. Sounded like he broke his bat. Ground ball to third, and Taylor can't pick it up. Tough play for the Falmouth third baseman. And first instinct, Trey, would be to call that an E5. Unfortunately for Taylor, not the easiest pickup he's ever made, but had plenty of time. And Derek Fabian now at the plate as a pinch hitter.
Pinch hitting for the Gatemen. Number 37, Derek Fabian.
So Fabian, his first action of the day. Day done for Michael Robertson, who went 1 for 3 with a double. Evans at first on the E5. First error of the day for the Doors. Breaking ball from Abner is upstairs, and it's 1-0 rather. Do we see some action in the Door bullpen? Ben Hess is over there too. Obviously can't come back in, but in that area. Fabian swings and misses, and it's 1-1 rather.
And still Somers over there in that Falmouth bullpen. You know, Abner, we thought we was going to get pulled here a couple at-bats ago, but he's been holding his ground. That double play saved him.
1-1. Down and in, rather. It's 2-1. Somers, a guy they've been comfortable with in late innings, at least lately. They put him in for the 9th against Katuitt. Didn't get the result they wanted, but again, the result of some untimely errors on defense, Trey. You were on the call for that one. Fouled back. And 2-2 now on Fabian. Another Florida Gator in this lineup. Fabian actually plays with the Gators with his brother Judd, who's not on this team. But facing up with a teammate is Halter at second base for the Doors. 2-2. Skips away from Peyton back of the plate, and Evans takes off for second. He gets there easily. So a wild pitch from Abner, and a runner at second with 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. And again, the Doors not making things particularly easy on themselves. Abner has danced through raindrops since he came in the top of the 6th inning. He's given up 3 hits and a walk. Had a double play in this inning that was big, but perhaps not at his sharpest tonight. Trying to get through just one more batter and turn it over in the 9th to probably Somers. Haven't seen anybody else warm up, at least not seriously. Payoff pitch to Fabian coming up. Line drive to center field, struck well, and Pinckney has to play it on a hop. His throw back into the plate is in time, but the tag not applied. Fabian takes off for second base on the bobble off of Peyton's glove, rather. And he stands there with 2 down in a tie ball game.
That's clutch from Fabian right there. Man. If I'm Pinckney, that's I don't know about that ball. You know, do you come in hard to make a diving grab, or do you hold up like that? I don't know if he would have made that play. He didn't get the greatest of jumps on it. I mean, knowing how bouncy that outfield is and where he was, I would say it's more of a smarter move. You can make the argument that Pinckney should have gone in on that do-or-die ball, but if you die, do you give up 2 runs? I mean, that could have been an inside-the-park home run for Fabian had Pinckney gone in with it. But now it's up to Sommers to not you know, have a save, but keep this a 4-4 game.
Coming in to pitch for the Commodores from Arizona, number 38,
And Drew Sommers into this game, perhaps a little bit earlier than the Doors wanted. They looked like they had him locked and loaded for the 9th inning, potentially with a lead, but sloppy defense here in the top of the 8th inning has spelled trouble and tied the game as another rabbit is on the field, this time in between the mound and home plate as Sommers raises his arms. And they're going to have to shoo this one away as well. Now the infield crew comes in, trying to get it out of the way. Well, at first it was cute, but these guys might now be thinking that these rabbits have been a bad luck charm.
That's a good point. Have we really gotten 3 of these rabbits in this sole top half of the 8th inning?
Believe so, right? There was one when Clark was batting.
Yep.
There was the one in left that Boyers took care
just
of.
threw a glove at him.
And now there's another that just skipped away.
How about Carson Depp?
Towards the Wareham dugout.
Carson Depp, our videographer on the right side, getting it done. There's not 1 but 2 over there.
And now he's on the run in left field. The Wareham bullpen coming out as if they're about to fight. Well, you see something new every day, huh?
Yeah, you got to be like Kevin Harlan, like call this, you know, whereas.
Oh, now they've got him in a rundown. The Wareham bullpen chasing him back behind the wall, and they tag him out there.
Oh, man, if only that ended the top half of the inning.
Tie ball game, though. Getting back to the real game at hand, it's 4-4. The Doors and Gatemen tied up in the late innings of this one, and remember, there's no extra innings. So Wareham potentially in position to tie here, but they can take the lead with Fabian at second base, who singled and then took second on a throw from Pinckney that went straight home and then skipped off of Jack Payton's glove. No error, but good mindfulness by Fabian to take that extra base and move up. Now in scoring position for Hausinger. Sommers, the new pitcher, fires strike 1, and it's 0-1. So Sommers, the big left-hander, 6'3", 250-pounder from Carlsbad, California. Just had a very successful spring at Central Arizona College in 23 games, a 2.04 ERA, 92 strikeouts in 53 innings. He's got a fastball and a good slider. 0-1. Check swing. And low, says home plate umpire Jason Klump. Sommers, making his 3rd appearance of the summer, has yet to allow an earned run. 1-1. 2-1. Sommers entering the evening with 2 2/3 innings, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, no hits or runs. And the Doors turning to him in a high leverage spot with Derek Fabian at second base and Jack Hausinger at the plate. Low and away. Peyton corrals it, but it's 3-1 on Hausinger. White knuckle time for Falmouth, who wrenched back the momentum back in the bottom of the 7th with a 4 spot. And now the Gatemen with one of their own a half inning later to tie the game. Swing and a miss by Hausinger. Fastball up and in. And the count goes full on the Wareham second baseman.
This is the pitch of the game right here. You know, if you're Sommers, why not try and jam him? You know, don't try and strike him out here. Do whatever you can to just get him out. If that's the case, so be it. But a jam would be just fine, too.
Lefty-lefty matchup with two good right-handed hitters on deck. 3-2. Popped back of the plate, foul, and out of play. Windish on deck. 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. And Max Anderson in the hole, who's 0 for 4. But you know what he did for Bourne last summer, and you know this guy can swing a wood bat. It's just a matter of time before he comes around in the numbers department. The Doors don't want to be the team to wake him up. So it would benefit Sommers to get out of this thing right here and now. Payoff pitch. Fouled to the left side. Spoiled again by Hausinger. And teeth grinding time for Jeff Trundy over in the Falmouth dugout. He had his plan all lined up for the 9th inning. Sommers was probably going to come on with a 1-run lead. But the Doors have done it to themselves in this inning with 2 outs and the bases empty. An E5, a wild pitch, and then a single to drive in Ty Evans off the bat of Derek Fabian. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Sommers gets Hausinger swinging to end the top of the 8th. The Gatemen get a run and tie things up. It's 4-4 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Guv Fuller Field.
Hottest take is that a straw has 2 holes, not 1.
What is your favorite place in Falmouth?
My favorite place in Falmouth right now, I would say, is Shoreway Acres Inn. A bunch of us, the interns, are staying there, and we're having such a great time getting to know each other.
Can you give me your best British accent?
Scott Sterling.
Is cereal a soup?
No, it's cereal. It's its own thing, right? What soup have you had with milk in it?
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores and the Wareham Gatemen are tied at 4 apiece. The Falmouth Commodores travel to Red Wilson Field tomorrow to take on the YD Red Sox for their second doubleheader of the 2022 season. The YD Red Sox manager, Scott Pickler, is now the winningest manager in Cape Cod Baseball League history. He surpasses John Schiffner with 540 career wins, with a 5-3 victory over the Katuitt Kettleers tonight. The Falmouth Commodores will look to get the opposite result of last week's doubleheader with the Orleans Firebirds, in which they were swept in both games. Guys, back to you.
Well, thank you, Logan, and certainly interesting how the Katuitt Kettleers are playing as well. The Doors are going to have to saddle up for that doubleheader tomorrow, but the Kets, after that red-hot start, 8-0, they're now, 9-2-1, I believe, after 2 losses, 1 to Harwich and then another tonight.
On a 3-game winless streak.
Now, tough stuff over there for the long-suffering Katuitt fans. All they've got to cry over are 18 rings. Bobby Alcock still in the game for the Wareham Gatemen. As the Doors try to mount something here, and you hear the cheers over from the right side grandstands. They've got the mascot out, trying to whip up the fans who have enjoyed a spectacular game here tonight. It looked like a little bit of a snoozer through 6 with the Gatemen leading 3-0, but it has completely changed around. 4 runs for the Doors in the bottom of the 7th. 1 run for the Gatemen to tie things up in the top of the 8th off an unfortunate error on Braden Taylor, a wild pitch, and a single by Derek Fabian, who pinch hit and is now in center field. Drew Brutcher at the plate. Alcock's first delivery. Low. 1-0 on the Commodore right fielder, 1 for 2 today with a walk. Solid day. A little bit low this time, 2-0, and that's the same spot we saw Philip Abner missing with his fastball, just a shade low of the strike zone. So Alcock not getting that call either. 2-0. In for a strike. 2-1 the count. Two one. On the outside corner, a fastball for a strike. Luke Boyers on deck. So he came in for defense in the top of the 8th for Anthony McKenzie. Replaced him in left. We saw him chasing around one of the rabbits out there. Another switch hitter in the number 9 spot. 2-2, wrap foul right side.
Makes you think, you know, if Brutcher gets on base here, do you play small ball with Boyers? He's not a bad bunter out of TCU. He's a guy, if the Commodores want to play small ball, they could play small ball with him.
2-2 the count on Brutcher. First he's got to reach, and then they have to decide. 2-2, oof, just missed. And the count full on the Falmouth right fielder. Boyers to this point still looking for his first hit this summer, 0 for 7. He waits on deck. 3-2. Line foul into the Falmouth bullpen. And Brutcher stays alive, taking pretty good at bats today. Full count, bases empty. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning in a tie ball game. Falmouth trying to come up with something here. Steal a win at home. 3-2. Just missed. And Brutcher takes his second walk in as many innings. He stands at first with nobody down, and Luke Boyers the batter.
So now it makes you think, do you go small ball here? If you catch the third baseman, Max Anderson, sleeping enough over there on the third base side, why not lay down a bunt on the left side of your Boyers? Try and advance Brutcher.
Third baseman comes in. Boyers does lay down a bunt to the third base side. It's Fabian who picks it up and the throw on to first for the out. So Anderson now at first base. Fabian at third, and those two combine for the first put out on a successful sacrifice bunt on the bat of Luke Boyers. Trey, you called it.
Right on cue. That's exactly what you got to do. Now you bring up the top of the order to where you have more of a chance to have guys get aboard and bring guys around, especially the guy who just had a home run in the bottom of the 7th. That's the reason why Falmouth is in this game, and now it's up to Mooney to be the reason why Falmouth can find itself back in front.
Mooney at the plate, right-handed bat against the righty Alcock. One out, Brutcher at second. Low and away, the breaking ball goes, and it's 1-0 on Mooney. Want to know the count? Mooney with the big blast his last time up. Top of the 7th. Alcock's 1-0. A little closer, but again, a ball, and it's 2-0. You cut it with a knife here at Guv Fuller Field, and a tie game. 4-4 your score, bottom of the 8th with one out. Drew Brutcher at second after a leadoff walk and a sacrifice bunt. The Doors trying to get a run here and close it out in the top of the 9th. 2-0. Line drive, left center field, it gets down. Brutcher rounding third. He's going to score without a play as the ball gets by Windish. Mooney motoring around second. He's headed for third, and he slides in. 5-4, the Commodores on top.
How about it? Alex Mooney getting it done again. He put it in play into the outfield. That was step one. Brutcher was going to score either way, even with that fumble out in left field by Hogan Windish, and Mooney just takes advantage of it. Now you have a guy in Halter with all he has to do, Carter, is send the ball in the air enough for the outfielders to move back a little bit, Mooney to use his speed and extend the Falmouth lead to 2. Tailor-made by Alex Mooney here.
So a base hit for Mooney, and he did take at least one extra base on another error out in left. 1 out, and he stands at third. Colby Halter at the plate. And a chance to make this a multi-run lead. Infield in for the Gatemen. And we're still awaiting that scoring decision. On the outside corner. In case you didn't overhear, it's a triple for Mooney. RBI as well. So a gap shot. 1-0 to Halter is a ground ball foul, and it's 1-1. So that more than enough for Mooney to get the run in, and taking extra bases on some sloppy play out in left by Hogan Windish.
Like I mentioned, Carter, all it takes is just one ball in play, even if it's not even a base hit. Sacrifice fly can make this a 2-run game, and Halter would have done his job.
Doors have struggled with this today. Swing and a miss, and they've done a lot of that with runners in scoring position. 1-2 the count. The Doors with 4 in the 7th, 1 so far in the 8th. The leadoff walk by Brutcher. He came around to score on the Mooney triple. That Boyer sacrifice bunt, well done, but ultimately ended up not mattering all that much.
Not again.
Are they looking at another one?
Yeah, there's one over there on the left side.
Oh, I see it now. They're getting awfully ambitious tonight. Well, we saw some as the Gatemen put up a run in the top of this inning, but now we have another.
Oh, he's coming home.
As both Halter and Alcott giving it a look over by the third base line. Now Mooney having to venture off and given the time to do it.
He didn't touch home plate. He's out. He went off the base path. Oh, goodness.
Halter giving it a run as well with a bat. Trying to box it in.
These guys have got to play.
It can't be the same one, right?
I don't know.
You can't figure. Don't they have a bucket or something for this?
Maybe. What's the difference between a rabbit and a bunny?
Same thing, aren't they?
Are they?
Well, Halter and I just had exchanged a glance. He gave me kind of a wry smile as if to say, can you believe this?
This is
only in Falmouth.
Live, love, Falmouth.
In all seriousness, though, these players have got to try to keep their concentration.
Yeah.
You know, Alcock's trying to get in a rhythm here. He can't keep stopping to let furry friends bound around this infield. Halter's trying to focus up with a 2-strike count and get in a run in. He now takes some practice cuts at the plate, half swings. Infield in for Wareham with Mooney at third and 1 out. While outside, it bounces off the glove of Campos, and here comes Mooney to score. Six to 4, Falmouth leads here in the bottom of the 8th inning. as Alcock let that pitch fly off the glove of his catcher Campos. And a wild pitch. Scores another. The Doors with 4 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. And they lead it 6-4. Halter still batting, the count 2-2. Halter flies this one to left field, shallow down the line. Windish racing over and has it for out number 2. Well, outfield play has been an adventure over there in left. But Trey, we said it at the time, players trying to keep their concentration. The first pitch after that rabbit delay, high and away.
Hey, the rabbit curse goes with the Commodores this time. You know how we were talking about bunny and rabbit, the difference? Our director of broadcasting, Sean Oldridge, just texted me saying there's no difference. There's no difference.
Sometimes you know, right? Popped foul by Taylor. 0-1 the count on the Falmouth third baseman, batting with 2 down, and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, that's the stuff of lore for both Falmouth and Wareham for completely different reasons. 0-1. Way up and in. Taylor had to lunge out of the way, and it's 1-1.
Did that a couple of times yesterday against Brewster, too.
So with the Doors playing some hot baseball, 2-0-1 this week, they take advantage of the rally rabbit here at home in the bottom of the 8th. Tack on 2 runs. 1-1 way up high, and Alcock is all out of sorts.
Running rabbits and the cardiac Commodores. Death taxes.
Two and 1 on the way to Taylor. In the dirt, and it's 3-1. Well, it takes a while to figure out what type of team you have, right?
Yeah.
A certain number of games before you can make a good assessment on your pitchers and your hitters. Well, we're a quarter of the way through this season, and now I guess the Doors have taken on a little bit of a new personality. 2-1. Down low, and it's 3-1 on Taylor. Ball 4, rather. As he takes first to outwalk here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Just keeps on going. In the bottom of the 7th, we saw each and every guy in the lineup come up. We're only 4 guys away from that.
And Jack Payton is the one to try to keep this thing going, with Taylor now at first, his 3rd time on base today, 3rd walk. Payton, big cut and a miss, 0-1. Another big swing up high, and it's 0-2 on Payton. So the Doors, who were quiet for a lot of this game, 4 in the 7th, now a pair in the 8th, and still batting. Big hit in this inning, the RBI triple by Alex Mooney. 0-2, in for strike 3. 3 pitches for Payton, and he sits down a strikeout victim. But not before the Doors retake the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning on one very big hit by Alex Mooney and a couple walks. It's 6-4 Doors as we head on to the top of the 9th inning.
Do your best cartwheel.
I'm not a gymnast. I think I'd pull something if I did a cartwheel.
Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm going to go with fly, honestly. I think flying would be pretty cool. Be able to be up in the air around everybody, fly with some birds. Be pretty cool stuff, Carson.
Okay, Anders, now do your best and favorite dance move.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
It's been a wild night out here at Guv Fuller Field, and now left-hander Drew Sommers out for inning number 2 to try to close things out for the Falmouth Commodores over the Wareham Gatemen in this Western Division matchup. 2 crazy games played between these two teams, and as many times they've met this season. The first one 12-9, and this one right now 6-4. And not quite over yet, as the Gatemen are going to bring around 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup, starting with Hogan Windish, Max Anderson on deck, and then possibly Alan Roden to clean up, barring a pinch hitter. But Sommers tasked with holding them off and protecting a 2-run lead. Sommers came in the 8th to strike out the only batter he faced in Jack Hausinger. And it was a big strikeout with Derek Fabian at second base in a tie ball game. Falmouth then got back on offense. Leadoff walk by Drew Brutcher, RBI triple by Alex Mooney, and a wild pitch plated 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Sommers dealing with Windish. Line drive, base hit into right field, past the diving Walsh. And the leadoff man aboard for Wareham on 1 pitch.
This is the toughest part of the game right here. Not just because it's the top of the 9th, you're trying to close out the game, but you're dealing with the heart of the Wareham order. This is a really good heart of the order right here. You got to give the Gatemen some credit. These guys can hit. One of them is Hogan Windish. Anderson, all it takes is one swing of the bat for him, knowing he's in the 3 spot, but it's also an opportunity for the Doors to turn 2 yet again.
Sommers' first pitch to Anderson. Half-hearted swing, but it's a full strike, and it's 0-1. Anderson, a guy last summer who swatted 3 home runs for the Bourne Braves. He represents the tying run with Windish over at first base, not much of a stealer. Sommers with the 0-1. Tails down and in, and it's 1-1 on the right-handed hitting Anderson. Alan Roden indeed on deck, a left-handed hitter. The Doors have had their problems in 9th innings this year. Sommers peers in, now the 1-1. Low and away this time, and it's 2-1 on Anderson.
If you're Sommers here, you just got to give something these guys can hit. You know, you put faith in your infield a little while back. When they turn that double play ball, why not do it again? Jam a guy.
Worst thing he can do here is walk Anderson and bring Roden to the plate. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase a high heater, and it's 2-2. Falmouth this season, in 11 games, not including tonight, 47 runs allowed, the most in the Cape League so far, but 9 of them have been in 9th innings. 11 games played, 9 ninth-inning runs allowed. 2-2. Spoiled foul right side, very high, and the count stays at 2-2. That stat may sound pretty threatening, but consider it was Wareham who did a big chunk of that in that one pretty unusual game.
So it makes us a little nervous, at least myself.
But these the same Gatemen who did just that. 2-2 on Anderson again. Grounded softly to first base. Walsh, his only play is to touch the bag, and he does for out number 1. Windish moves on to second base, and he stands there with 1 out. Alan Roden now at the plate. So for all the accolades that Roden has had at Creighton over his first 2 seasons, and all the hitting prowess that he does have, he is not much of a power hitter. He's more of a gap line drive type of guy. Only 4 home runs this spring with the Blue Jays. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch in a strike, fastball right down the middle, and it's 0-1. Roden today, 2 for 4 with a pair of doubles. His first multi-hit game of the summer. Commodore defense playing straight up. Oh, breaking ball snaps in and a good one. 0-2.
That was nasty. Crowd knew it too. A lot of oohs and ahs after that one.
And pitches that nasty were the ticket for Sommers to take his talents to Arizona this coming season. He'll play for the Wildcats in 2023. 0-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat into right field. Brutcher racing in to make the catch for out number 2, and Windish stays put at second base.
Big out there by Sommers. Huge out. So now it comes down to this. One more batter. Falmouth will have itself a winning streak finally.
Another lefty-lefty matchup. Ryan Campos, the batter. The Wareham catcher hitting 5th. 1 for 3 today with a walk. Had an RBI single back in the 6th inning that plated Roden. He represents the last Wareham hope with Windish at second. Campos representing the tying run at the plate. 6-4 your score. Falmouth leads Wareham. Chopper, high ground ball to third base. Taylor spins around, makes the throw, and that's the ball game. Gold glove play over there at third base from Braden Taylor. And the Commodores survive 6-4 over the Wareham Gatemen. And their undefeated week continues. They're now 3-0-1 in their last 4 games. And they take down their division rivals to get out of last place in the Western Division.
Boy, does that sound good. About time, but finally. Doors are out of it. You said it, undefeated week. Not done just yet, though. Sunday doubleheader tomorrow against YD. Got to keep the good times rolling against the top team in the Eastern Division. If you want to prove yourself to be one of the best in this league, you got to win these intra-division classes.
The Doors get it done tonight. They beat Wareham for the second time in as many games. 6-4 your final score. Falmouth trailed for most of this game, 3-0, and then put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 7th, 2 in the bottom of the 8th, to steal a win away from Harvey Shapiro and his Wareham Gatemen. We're back on the road tomorrow at Yarmouth Dennis for the doubleheader that starts at 2 p.m., so you won't want to miss that one. We'll be back on the Falmouth Commodores radio network on the road, so don't miss that broadcast. We'll have full coverage out there. But until then, this has been Carter Bainbridge along with Trey Redfield and our field reporter Logan Soforenko. Special thank you to our producers and videographers and all of our crew on the screen right now. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Once again, Falmouth takes it 6-4, and we'll see you tomorrow.